Perched at the top of that 3-meter-high wall, I cast a casual glance downward. A group of people with varying expressions stood just inside the school grounds. Without a hint of emotion on my face, I leaped into the air. I landed perfectly on my feet. Casually dusting off my clothes, I turned toward a middle-aged man wearing a checkered shirt. I greeted him politely. "Good day, Principal." The principal gave a forced, awkward laugh. He introduced me to the group beside him. "This is Jangfan." Following the direction of the principal's hand, I saw a family of 3 and a young girl dressed in a hoodie. As I looked at them, they were also sizing me up. The 4 of them wore 4 very different expressions. The middle-aged man's expression was unsightly and sour. The middle-aged woman, however, looked incredibly overwhelmed with emotion, while the 2 young girls couldn't hide their sheer shock. Madam Chen spoke to the girl in the hoodie. "Great Master Zhu, could you please check if it's really him?" Eunianu took a few steps toward me, forming a hand seal. She spoke softly. "Forgive my intrusion." Watching her, a single thought flashed through my mind. The lineage of the Heavenly Master. In the eyes of Eunianu, a red thread emerged from Madam Chen's body. It drifted slowly toward me, but the strange thing was the red thread stopped dead in its tracks as it reached me. It wouldn't entwine itself with me at all. Eunianu suppressed the eerie feeling rising in her heart. She thought to herself, such a fragile thread of fate. She turned to Madam Chen and said, "Madam Chen, it is indeed him." Madam Chen rushed forward urgently. It seemed as though she wanted to embrace me. I took 2 steps back to avoid her. The principal quickly explained, "Jangfan, my boy, these people are actually your family." I stared at the 3 of them in silence. Of course, I already knew. I've known since I joined the Special Abnormalities Bureau 2 years ago. It's just that I was born with such a thin destiny. Having wandered all alone since the age of 12, walking the razor's edge between life and death, I had long ago ground any feelings of kinship down to nothing. See my indifference. Chen Jing forced herself to swallow the sentimental words she had prepared. She simply explained, "I am Chen Jing, your Nuna. 17 years ago, there was a mix-up with the babies in the Chen family. The family has been searching for a very long time. We have finally found you. They say it was a mix-up, but in a private hospital's VIP ward. How could such a mistake even happen? It was clearly a deliberate switch." Seeing my silence, Chen Jing continued, "These are our parents. Come back to Central Province with us, okay?" Just as I was about to speak, the phone in my pocket buzzed. I stepped a few paces away and took out my phone to check the message. It was a text from the director of the Special Abnormalities Bureau, Director Shi. "The paperwork for Central University is all finished. When are you coming to Central Province?" Across my usually expressionless face, a flicker of helplessness finally appeared. I typed out a reply. "Director, can I skip this? Send someone else." Director Shi, "Listen. You know how it is. Everyone else at the Bureau is the wrong age. You're the only one who fits the college age profile. Besides, if those spoiled brats hadn't caused trouble, you would have finished your exams and started school 4 months ago." Eunianu pleaded with me, certain that if I just took the exam, I would definitely get into Central University. I knew this mission was unavoidable. Sighing inwardly, I wrote, "Fine, I understand." Relieved that I had agreed, Yuaning and LT and GTS fingers flew across the keyboard. "I've already arranged several majors for you. You can pick one yourself once you arrive. When will you be here? Do you want a private jet?" I looked up at the Chen family members waiting there. Everything was happening at once, might as well settle it all in one go. I turned to Chen Jing and asked, "When do we leave?" Seeing my cold demeanor, Chen Jing assumed I was reluctant to return to the family. She had prepared herself for a long session of persuasion. She didn't expect that I'd agree right after checking a text. "Mr. Chen's face darkened even further. The moment he hears about joining the Chen family, is he already this desperate and patient? The following afternoon, I boarded the flight to the imperial capital with the Chens. Chen Jing curiously asked why. I insisted on waiting until the afternoon. They had originally intended to fly out first thing in the morning, but I refused and demanded we wait until the afternoon. Chen Jing assumed I needed time to pack my belongings. She even offered to help me, but I turned her down. No one saw a trace of me for the rest of that day. I was constantly typing away on my phone. The reason was that I hadn't finished handing over my duties last night. Chen Jing wanted to ask what was going on, but seeing my phone buzz incessantly with messages, I appeared incredibly preoccupied. She grew even more puzzled. Could he be saying goodbye to his classmates? She noticed that my phone had no recognizable brand. It looked remarkably thin and light. She wondered where I could have possibly bought such a knockoff device. So, she instructed her assistant in the capital to buy a new phone. After thinking for a moment, She added that it should be the same model Chen Yu bought last month. Finally, once I had arranged all my affairs and was just about to set my phone down, another new message popped up. It was a file. The title was Resume of Eunianu. Eunianu, 20 years old, disciple of the Kuan Temple, Mount Kuan, East Zhu, descended the mountain a year ago to start a career in the imperial capital, practices fortune-telling and fangui with extreme accuracy. Within the high society and occult circles of the capital, she is quite well known and she's very successful. Great, I thought. This girl won't be easy to fool. In an instant, I receive another file. It was an introduction to the Chen family. I clicked to open it. It was over 100 pages long. Every single experience of every Chen family member since birth was detailed within. Specifically, the one named Chen Yu, who was switched at birth, was highlighted prominently in red. Right after that, there was a breakdown of all Chen family assets along with many other meticulous details. I didn't reply further and simply put my phone away. If it weren't for this mission, I really wouldn't want to leave South Province at all. I only feel at ease when I am personally guarding this place. Chen Jing saw that I had put my phone away and was about to find a topic to chat with me, but before she could speak, I spoke up first. I plucked a few strands of hair from my head, drew a small plastic bag from my pocket, and placed the hair inside. When we reached the capital, run a DNA test. Chen Jing was momentarily flustered, unsure whether to take it. The situation was incredibly awkward. I decisively pressed the bag into her hand. While I haven't decided if it'll stay with the Chen, I don't want this matter lingering in uncertainty. Chen Jing said Master Zhu wouldn't make a mistake. Even though she said that, deep down she was actually quite anxious. They had followed Master Xu's guidance all this way, yet she still couldn't fathom Master Xu's methods. Chen Jing tucked the plastic bag away and asked, "Once we're back, it'll arrange for you to re-enroll in high school. Which school would you like to attend? How about the experimental high school attached to Central University?" Chen Jing added another point. "That is the best high school in the entire capital. I've never lived in the capital for long, so I naturally didn't know which schools were good or bad, but it didn't really matter because I had no intention of attending high school anyway." "No need, but thank you, Nuna," I whispered softly. "I am going to sleep for a bit." Chen Jing was stunned for a moment. "All right." I tilted my head and closed my eyes, appearing to fall asleep instantly. Since yesterday, I had been non-stop handing over my duties in South Province. For 2 days and 1 night, I hadn't had a single moment of rest. With my current level of cultivation, going without sleep hardly affected my health. I just wanted a little peace and quiet. Chen Jing looked at me with a face full of surprise. Seeing me sleep so quickly, she didn't want to disturb me. Mr. Chen, ever since he saw me being so sluggish and insisting on waiting until the afternoon to leave, had already begun to feel a deep distaste for me. Madam Chen, however, kept glancing back at me. Chen Jing saw her mother repeatedly looking over and whispered softly to her, "Jangfan is asleep, mother." Then she began to carefully observe this biological brother she had been apart from for 17 years. Even in sleep, I exuded a cold and unapproachable aura. My clothes from head to toe didn't have a single designer label, but they couldn't hide the sharp, piercing aura radiating from my body. From the inside out, I was as cold as ice and possessed quite a strong, distinct personality. I was the complete opposite of Chen Yu, who had been raised in the Chen household. Chen Yu was elegant and polite with a radiant demeanor, always treating others with great humility. At home, he was the most pampered youngest son. In public, he was the admired golden child of the Chen family. Thinking about how I had lived for the past 17 years, Chen Jing couldn't help but feel a pang of heartache. Ex-Union Shu sat in the row behind them, so she naturally heard their entire conversation. When she heard me suggest the DNA test, she didn't feel offended in the least. On the contrary, it felt as though she had found a kindred spirit. Eunianu had a premonition that this young man, Jangfan, was anything but simple. Seeing me with my eyes closed in meditation, Eunianu placed a hand over her eyes. When she moved her hand away, her eyes had transformed into a brilliant golden hue. After looking at me for less than 5 seconds, Eunianu hurriedly closed her eyes. She covered her mouth with her hand to hide a trickle of blood at the corner of her lips. Sitting in the front row, I suddenly opened my eyes and cast a look back. Chen Jing thought she had made too much noise and disturbed me. "Is something wrong?" "You'll speak more softly," I replied. "It's nothing." After that, I took out my phone and sent a message to Tang Xuan. Just 4 simple words. "Be careful of Eunianu." Eunianu was completely unaware of this. She silently used a tissue to wipe the blood from her lip. She closed her eyes and thought about what she had just seen, a wave of uncontrollable sorrow rising within her. It wasn't until 11 p.m. that they finally landed in the imperial capital. The assistant was already there to pick up the group. Jing handed him the plastic bag with my hair and gave him a series of careful instructions. Eunianu looked at her bank balance, which had just gained several zeros, but she didn't feel the usual sense of satisfaction. Seeing me about to leave, she quickly called out, "Wait a moment." Xianxia walked up to me and asked for my contact information. All three members of the Chen family were quite surprised. I shot her a questioning look, then recited a phone number. Eunianu carefully entered the number into her phone and made a test call right then and there. My phone let out a single chime. Eunianu said, "This is my number. If anything happens, you can find me anytime." With that, she turned and walked away, ignoring the Chen family's expressions. After walking a short distance, she recalled how the thread of kinship had failed to connect today. So, she turned back and called out, "Can you come here for a second?" Sensing no malice from Xianxia, I decided to approach her. Eunianu waited until she was out of the Chen's sight and secretly slipped something into my hand. "What's this?" 6 zeros. I stared at the bank card in my hand, lost, and thought, isn't she supposed to be a heavenly master? Why is she suddenly acting like some generous gift-giving deity? Suppressing the strange feeling in my heart, I pocketed the card and gave a few perfunctory replies. Chen, Jing, and the others headed back to the Chen residence. Ever since Eunianu arrived in the central province, she had witnessed countless power struggles within high society. Eunianu usually divided her money into 2 different cards. The card she just gave me was one of them. It contained about 5 million yuan. Thinking about what had just happened, Eunianu arrived at her doorstep. She quietly pulled out a talisman, clutching it tightly between her fingers with high alertness. She watched the 2 people standing at her door. "Miss Eunianu, greetings." One of the 2 showed an identification card and spoke. "I am the commander of the Special Abnormalities Bureau. Tan Suan, could we have a word?" After getting out of the car, I pushed my luggage with one hand while handling messages on my phone with the other. Chen Jing looked back at me, walking silently behind, carrying everything myself. She slowed her pace slightly. All along the way, when I wasn't sleeping, I was glued to my phone, typing away. She hadn't found a single opportunity to talk to me. It wasn't until we were inside the house that I finally put my phone away. At this moment in the Chen house, aside from the servants, only Chen Yu was there. He had been waiting in the living room for a long time with an expression of extreme tension and anxiety. Since the day he learned he wasn't the biological son of the Chens, fear, insecurity, and worry had weighed on him until he felt suffocated. Seeing the Chen family return, Chen Yu rushed out to meet them. "Father, mother, second sister, you're all home." "Mr. Chen gave a slight nod. "Xiao Yu." Madam Chen smiled and took Chen Yu and Ltiong and GT's hand. Then she introduced, "This is Jangfan." The smile on Chen Yu and Ltiong and GT's face looked a bit forced. He looked slightly flustered as he said, "Brother." I cast a glance at him and said coldly, "No need to call me that, Jangfan." He seemed intimidated by my icy exterior. Chen Yu shrank back slightly and looked at Madam Chen instinctively. Madam Chen and Ltiong and GT's face showed clear embarrassment, not knowing what the right thing to say was. Mr. Chen appeared dissatisfied. Frowning, he shouted, "From now on, you and Xiao Yu are brothers. You're both children of the Chen family." I looked at him with questioning eyes.
Shanjing, standing nearby, quickly spoke up. "Xiaon, he just got home. He's probably just not used to it yet. Take it slow." Shenjing told the servant to take my suitcase, but I took a step back, still holding firmly onto the handle. I looked up at the Chen family members. "Let's talk." Everyone sat down together on the living room sofa. I was the one to speak first. "Father, how do you intend to handle my identity?" The Chen family had actually considered this question long ago. They planned to tell the world that the 2 were twin brothers. Mr. Chen said publicly. "Well, say you are the Chen's adopted son." Shenjing cried out in shock. "Father, we already agreed on something else." Mr. Chen cut Shenjing off, his voice full of calculating cunning. "The Chen family cannot have a son with such poor character." Madam Chen protested. "No, we must do as we planned before. Tell everyone they are twins." Chen Yu silently sighed in relief. It seemed that no matter what happened, he would remain a son of the Chen family.
As for me, I felt like a mere bystander watching them argue. I truly didn't understand. Why would the Chens go to such lengths to find me only to refuse to acknowledge who I really am? They even wanted to turn the world upside down to completely swap my identity with Chenyo's. But that's fine, too. It saves me the trouble of thinking about it too much. I had reached my final decision. I pulled 2 jade talismans from my pocket and placed them on the table. A sharp clink of the jade drew everyone's attention. The argument came to a sudden halt. Chen Jing frowned. "Director Shi, What are you doing? I stood up and pushed the two jade talismans toward Mr. and Madam Chen. If the Chen family doesn't wish to acknowledge me as their son, then it's a coincidence because I have no desire to return here either. Consider us of the same mind on this. These two talismans are to repay the debt of my birth to you both. From this moment on, we are even. We owe each other nothing. Mr. Chen's face turned completely dark. He stood up abruptly, snatched up the jade talisman in front of him, and threw it violently onto the floor. The jade talisman remained perfectly intact without a single scratch. The immediate thought that it was a fake only made Mr. Chen even more furious. He roared, "If you don't want to be a Chen, then get out of my sight. The Chen family will never accept someone like you." I stood up and left immediately. Chen Jing hurried to pick up the jade talisman from the floor and rushed after me. Chen Yu took the opportunity to cling to Madam Chen, putting on a terrified expression. Madam Chen snapped at Mr. Chen. "What do you think you're doing?" Seeing that Chen Jing had pursued me, Madam Chen felt slightly relieved and turned to comfort Chen Yu. She saw me walking while holding a white phone, fiddling with something on it. "I didn't expect you to have two phones." Chen Jing hurried to catch up. "Xiaofan, father just has a bad temper. Don't take it to heart." As she got closer, she could finally see it clearly. My phone was the same brand she had bought for Chen Yu, except this was a model from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this phone would have cost tens of thousands of yuan. "Where did you get the money to buy this?" I ignored her inquisitive gaze and replied coldly, "Whatever he's like has nothing to do with me. After what happened today, consider our debt to each other fully settled." Chen Jing looked down and saw that I had a ride-hailing app open on my phone. She changed her tone. "Where do you want to go?" "Let me drive you. I have an apartment downtown. You can stay there for now." I replied, "No need to trouble yourself, sister." Director Shi. While the two were talking, they walked out to the gates of the Chen villa. A strikingly eye-catching red sports car was parked by the roadside. A girl with vibrant pink-dyed hair, dressed in casual clothes, was leaning lazily against the car and waved her hand at me.
Chen Jing was stunned for a moment. Isn't that the youngest daughter of the Liu family? The Liu family was a power far beyond the reach of the Chens. In recent years, they had even begun to overshadow the Chen family. Liu Ruian was the youngest daughter of that clan. She was known for her wild and unrestrained lifestyle, constantly traveling, her movements always unpredictable. She only occasionally appeared at high society parties, always carrying an aura of arrogance and indifference as if looking down on everyone else. I looked up at Liu Yuan. "Why are you here?" Liu Yuan was supposed to be guarding the western border of West Zhou. Normally, she would never leave her post. Liu Yuan took a few steps closer and naturally took the suitcase from my hand, opening the trunk to put it inside. "Nothing's happening over there. Everyone can take turns resting. I am on leave to visit family. I was originally going to find you, but I heard you've moved here, so I came to get you. I got your schedule from Commander Tang."
I also heard some rumors in the circle, so I know all about the Chen's baby switch, and I've pretty much guessed how it all went down. With the way the Chen family behaves, there's no way you'd stay here even for a single night. I watched as she finished stowing the suitcase. I could have just called a ride myself. Liu Ruian casually closed the trunk. "That's too much trouble in the capital. You can just call me whenever you need." Chen Zhang had just walked up as well, her mind a whirl of confusion. "Is this really the arrogant third princess of the Liu family?" Liu Ruian continued. "The dorms are far away. Just come stay at my place. It'll drive you to school tomorrow." Before I could speak, Chen Jing blurted out, "No." Both of them turned simultaneously to look at her. Chen Jing took a few steps forward. "You can't. Zaon, you're not going anywhere." Liu Yuan raised an eyebrow at her. Suddenly, her eyes were drawn to the jade talisman in Chen Jing and LT Unk and GT's hand. She gave a light chuckle. "On what authority are you trying to control him?" Chen Jing was about to say, "I am his sister," but I cut her off. "Don't worry about it, Nuna." I took another glance at the jade talisman in Chen Jing and LT Unk and GT's hand. "Since Cheng Duan didn't want it, then it and LT Unk and GTLL give it to you. Just give the other one to Madam Chen." Liu Ruian standing nearby chimed in. "Zhao Fan, you're truly far too generous." As she spoke, she opened the passenger door and looked at me, gesturing with her hand after you. Liu Yuan thoughtfully closed the door for me, then turned to give Chen Jing a piece of sincere advice. "It's best if you keep that jade talisman with you at all times." With that, Liu Ruian stepped into the driver's seat. She seemed to be muttering to herself. Truly generous indeed. Liu Yuan sped off, leaving Chen Jing standing there with a bewildered expression, but clearly I didn't want her interfering in any of this. This situation and my connection with Liu Ruian appeared to be anything but ordinary.
Shen Jing stared intensely at the jade talisman in her hand, then silently tucked it into her coat pocket. If he gave it to me, then it's mine from now on. She didn't know the origin of this jade talisman, but it felt cool to the touch. The quality appeared exceptionally fine. There was absolutely no way it could be a fake. So then why is it valuable or not? What did Liu Ruian mean by those words? From her demeanor, it was clear she was very envious of me. Shen Jing could only feel that the number of these younger brothers and sisters is just growing. Shen Jing returned. Mother Chen hurriedly asked about my situation. Shen Jing, she didn't dare mention that Liu Yu and had picked me up. She only said that I had taken a car and left on my own. Father Chen didn't expect that I would actually leave like that. It made his face turn pale with rage. Seeing the jade talisman left on the table, he was about to smash it, but Chen Jing was quick to snatch it up.
He'll go look for him tomorrow. She planned to visit Master Zhu first to ask him to take a look at this jade talisman in the car. Liu Ruian occasionally stole a glance at me. What are you looking at? Liu Ruian felt a bit embarrassed. She gave a soft smile. How is your injury? I have been with the bureau for 2 years. She had never seen me so badly injured before. If it wasn't for saving them, I acted like I didn't care at all. It's healed. Thanks to the healer that Tang Xuan found. I only had to stay in recovery for half a month. That was a great demon with 10,000 years of cultivation. I was able to protect them and retreat safely. So, you must have reached your limit, right? Liu Ruian suddenly remembered something. She angrily slammed her hand on the steering wheel. It's all because of those stupid rich brats. Over 3 months ago, 5 young masters and ladies from the elite families of Central State Capital went on an outdoor expedition. They drove themselves all the way to Western Jin and Western Zhou and recklessly charged into the Forbidden Zone. That place is the boundary between humans and demons. They found a weak point in the barrier and sneaked into the demon territory. Liu Ruian continued to scold, and those people from Team 10,072 guarding a forbidden zone, and they weren't even careful. And what's with that damn obsession with rushing to save people? They've completely lost their minds. They didn't even care about the rules, daring to directly chase after them inside, only to almost lose their lives in there. The stone sector of the Bureau is responsible for guarding the Forbidden Zone. Sector 2 is the one responsible for entering the barrier to save lost souls. The stone sector let those 5 rich brats successfully bypass the law, and yet they dared to say it was out of eagerness to save people, only to chase in there together. To be honest and a bit cruel, if it were only those rich brats, the chief of Sector 2 would never have sent anyone to save them. Accidentally getting lost and intentionally intruding are 2 different things. They brought it on themselves. It's not worth sacrificing the lives of the Bureau's enforcers, but the enforcers of Team 1007 entered that place being both weak and unlucky. They encountered a 10,000-year-old demon. As soon as they arrived, our Sector 2 had to go in to rescue them, but the result was like moths to a flame. Wave after wave went in to die. In the end, they still had to call me to settle it. If it wasn't for that great demon, wanting to see them struggle, I am afraid they wouldn't have survived long enough for me to arrive. By the time I rushed there, 2 members of Team 1007 had already died and everyone else was severely injured. After getting out, even with a healer's treatment, I myself was bedridden for an entire month. I don't need to say anything more. I looked out the window. The traffic was busy. That battle with a great demon, both sides suffered heavy losses. It even attracted the attention of the demon princess. At that time, my meridians were completely damaged. My spiritual energy was almost exhausted. If I really had to take action, I would have had no choice but to use that move. I cannot die yet. Fortunately, the demon princess did not strike after looking at me for a long time. Hey, Chief Enforcer, time is running out for the human race. A young girl's cold voice rang out. It contained a warning and a bit of schadenfreude. Both the demon and monster races are waiting to witness the moment the barrier vanishes to see where the human race will end up. Then after the demon princess said those words, she let you all leave. The number of human cultivators is not small, but there are very few families left guarding the barrier. Now the remaining families chose seclusion, indifferent to worldly affairs. They only want to protect their own small patch of land, and still dream of the path to immortality. As an official agency with special abilities, our bureau is currently alone and vulnerable, completely isolated and without help. Manpower is extremely scarce. For the safety of ordinary people, the Forbidden Zone was established, yet there are always arrogant people trying to break in. Wait until the barrier completely dissolves. Demons and monsters will rise and run rampant everywhere. The world will fall into great chaos and no one will be able to stay out of it. Whether it is the demon or monster race, They are entities far beyond human imagination. Either side making a move would be enough to wipe out all of humanity. Humanity's hearts are far too fragmented. The phone notification sound broke the silence in the car. I opened the phone to check. Someone new just arrived at the bureau. Liu Ruian asked curiously, "Who is it?" I answered, "Eunianu from the Heavenly Master lineage." Liu Ruian felt even more curious. Don't they all just like setting up stalls for fortune-dealing in xianxia or live streaming to make money? How did you manage to recruit her? Although the treatment at the bureau is very good, but this job always requires trading your life. Our bureau hasn't failed to contact those heavenly masters before, but they only need to read faces and draw talismans. They can make a fortune just by live streaming. Their lives are extremely wealthy and comfortable, so many elite families beg for the chance to serve them. They basically don't want to come here, a place where you have to risk your life like this bureau. I omitted a few unimportant small details and briefly explained that she was the one who helped the Chen family find me. I sent the live stream video to Brother Xuan. He was the one who went to recruit her. I was just trying my luck back then because not everyone only lives for themselves. There are still people with burning passion ready to sacrifice their lives to seize a glimmer of hope for humanity. A living proof is right here beside me. The person driving over there giving up a multi-billion-dollar fortune to join the bureau and traveling far to guard the western border. Liu Ruian spoke. It's rare to meet someone like that in a lifetime. I also feel that she is indeed a very rare person. Eunianu sent a friend request. I pressed accept. Union, thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. Chief Enforcer, I am Jangfan. Welcome to the bureau. Just after sending the message, I received another phone call. The other party said something and I replied, "All right, he'll head over there right now." After hanging up, I said, "I have to trouble you once again to the headquarters." Liu Yuan muttered while turning the wheel. "It's the middle of the night. I don't know who's crazy calling you over at this hour. It's Tiank and GT. The chief political officer, the supreme leader of all 5 states." Liu Ruian suddenly fell silent for a moment. Sorry, I must be crazy for saying that. When they both ran to the director's office, the person guarding the door saw it was me and hurriedly opened the door for me to enter. Liu Ruian followed behind. She saw the scene inside the room and her steps suddenly froze. "I'll just wait out here." There were 3 people in that room: the chief political officer, the director of the bureau, Eunianu, and the commander-in-chief of the bureau, Tan Xuan. And now there's the addition of a chief enforcer. I didn't wait for the chief political officer to speak, but took the initiative to stop her and said, "Since you're here, come in and sit." Another classic "since you're here" line. The chief political officer also extended an invitation. Therefore, Liu Yuan couldn't really lead. After waiting for me to sit down, only then did she dare to choose a chair to sit. She sat in the last position of the row of chairs, sitting upright and proper just like an elementary school child. The chief political officer said, "Everyone is here now. Let's begin." Eunianu said, "Little fan, the enrollment procedures at Central State University are all done for you tomorrow. Soon we'll personally take you there to report." I nodded slightly. "Fine." Eunianu continued, "Your mission this time is to select young talents with cultivation potential or anyone you find suitable. The deadline for this mission is 5 months. What on earth was that last condition?" But I still replied, "Understood." After saying that, I turned to the chief political officer and asked, based on the notifications I received, the large-scale selection at the 5 states universities won't start for another 6 months. And after that, cultivation rituals will be gradually revealed to society. Why ask me to pick a few people now? Besides this, there's really no need to deploy me back here from South State. Central State University is currently one of the top schools, and it truly is a cradle for many talents. The health exams at 5 states universities a month ago were actually a preliminary survey of everyone's potential. At Central State University, there are many individuals with cultivation potential. You will definitely be able to find some elite talents there. The political officer didn't mince words. He went straight to the point and said, "Because we want you to build a squad of your own." Liu Yuan tried to suppress her curiosity, but in the end, she couldn't help but blurt out, "Why? If Little Fan feels it's necessary, our Team 0203 can completely help him. After all, he originally came from our team." The number of bureau enforcers is currently extremely scarce. All enforcers have been assigned to 17 different sectors. Each sector has 10 small teams. Each team has 5 to 7 members depending on the actual situation. The total number of enforcers combined just barely reaches 1,000. Among them, 400 are currently guarding the southern border and another 300 are guarding the western border. 100 are stationed in North State and another 100 are in East State. The final 100 remaining are tasked with staying to protect Central State. About 2 years ago, when I first joined the Bureau, I was assigned to Team 3 of Sector 2. Sector 2 is the unit responsible for guarding the western border, where we directly face threats from the monster race. Meanwhile, the southern border is where the demon race runs rampant. The danger there is actually much greater than in the west. The protective barrier at the southern border is becoming weaker by the day. Under the demon race's attacks, defensive gaps have started to appear. The demon race exploited those openings to infiltrate human territory, and many humans accidentally strayed into demon lands. I began embarking on dangerous solo missions, disregarding hardships, and many times I rescued other squads from life or death situations. Regarding my knowledge of the demon race, I am indeed the one who understands them better than anyone else in this entire bureau. After just 1 short year, I was honored to become a chief enforcer. My name now stands in a completely separate position, and I officially became a lone traveler on this thorny path. I asked, "Why ask me to build a squad?" Ewing asked me back, "Don't you want to have teammates so that when you go on missions, you're no longer alone? To have companions you can trust with your very life." I turned slightly to look at him and calmly said, "I already have my own teammates. There used to be many. It's just that they're no longer here now. Now I only have one true companion left, ready to live or die with me." Eunianu hurriedly asked, "So where is that person now?" But I didn't give any answer. The chief political officer spoke. "Jangfan, our human race needs to mature as quickly as possible. You can't just keep playing the role of a silent guardian like this because there are too many people. You alone cannot protect everyone. Humanity now desperately needs a proper guide. Actually, we don't expect them to become extraordinary like you. It's enough if they're strong enough to fight ordinary demons and monsters. I am planning to select a group of promising young talents to give them the chance to be tempered and mature first. As for what comes next, we'll discuss it later." Laying smiled slightly. "All right." Wuaning then handed me a list. "This is the result of the tests conducted half a month ago, including all individuals evaluated as having latent potential, their names, ages, majors, and family backgrounds. There are even portrait photos attached. All the information is listed very clearly and in great detail. Your squad will be designated as Team 0. I took the list and nodded in confirmation. After knowing I had no other schedule, I took the list and plan and walked out of the room. Once their figures had disappeared behind the door, Yuaning let out a long sigh. "Will a plan like this actually be effective?" The chief political officer leaned back on the sofa and rubbed the bridge of his nose with a weary expression. "Let's just give it a shot." Tang Xuan glanced at the two of them. "I told you he already had a teammate, so there must be some." Yuaning spoke up. "A teammate that no one has ever seen before. That's certainly a mysterious teammate. This means his support is also extremely vague and uncertain." The chief political officer said that teammate has too many uncertain factors. It's better to create conditions for him to have more ties to reality. A teammate that even we can't contact in the end is no different from having none at all. If Jangfan suddenly disappears, then well, lose track and won't be able to find him anywhere. The real reason they want Jangfan to form his own squad actually isn't just that, or more precisely, not just simply wanting me to train a new group of talents. I have endured a past full of pain and loss. Even though I look like a normal person now, I can still happily chat and laugh with those around me. However, deep in my heart, only a pervasive coldness remains. Whenever danger strikes, I always choose to face the storm alone. I never even turn on my tracking device, as if I'm mentally prepared to accept it if I can't return. When injured, I absolutely never breathe a word to anyone, always acting casual as if nothing significant happened, then quietly finding a hideout alone to bandage and treat my wounds. Maybe it's partly because the age gap between them is too large, thus creating barriers and spiritual distance, or perhaps because of my painful past or the hardships I faced upon joining the Bureau. So, I still haven't truly opened up and placed full trust in them. But all those reasons don't matter anymore. If the age gap is felt as an obstacle, then create conditions for him to interact and work with peers of his age. If he still feels a lack of trust, then let him personally select teammates he truly trusts. At all costs, we must help him strengthen his connection with the human community, at least to ensure that one day I won't fall and pass away in some remote place without anyone knowing. I went to Liu Ruian and LT and GT's car to get my suitcase, and quietly pushed it toward the dormitory. Liu Ruian suddenly asked, Now you have new teammates of your own. Does it mean from now on you won't like me anymore? That won't happen. Liu Ruian and GT's eyes suddenly flash with a glimmer of hope. This has absolutely nothing to do with whether I have teammates or not. Liu Ruian exclaimed, "Oh my, you're breaking my heart." My face remained terrifyingly cold. Liu Ruian noticed I had no expression at her jokes, so she immediately pulled back her playful joking demeanor and switched to a very serious tone. "Jangfan, I am truly sorry." My footsteps suddenly stopped. I turned slightly and looked at her. Liu Ruian pursed her lips before continuing. "Captain Liu asked me to send a most sincere apology to you on behalf of all of Team 0203. They say they feel deeply ashamed and can't bear to face you anymore. Apologies for their arrogance, snobbery, and inflated egos until now. Always thinking they were right and looking down on everyone. They thought that by standing together they would be invincible. But the end result was that the entire Team 0203 facing that great demon couldn't even hold out for more than 10 moves. But as soon as I appeared in time, that fierce monster couldn't advance even a single step. Witnessing my appearance then drenched in fresh blood stains at the moment, I stood tall in front to protect them all with a steady and resilient stance, refusing to back down even half an inch. All the coldness and indifference they showed me for the past 2 years have now vanished and turned into deep regret and gratitude. In truth, behind my back all the members of Team 02030203, because they lack the courage to defy orders from above, chose to vent all their frustration and resentment on a newcomer like me. None of them ever intended to find out what my true strength was, simply because they saw me as too young in both age and experience. So, they naturally viewed me as a burden hindering the team's progress. They claimed to protect me, but in reality, they were isolating and pushing me away. Yet, I maintained an amazing calm. None of that matters anymore. Before stepping through the doors of this bureau, I had already tasted enough of the bitterness and malice of this world. I soon realized the truth that I am not a piece of shining gold, so I can't expect everyone in this world to love and cherish me. Even looking back on everything now, even my own biological parents didn't give me a shred of love. So how could I expect it from strangers I've just met? That's right. No one in this world is obligated to care for or defer to me, and the only person I can truly trust and lean on is myself. Suddenly remembering the words Anin once said, I uncontrollably reached up and gripped the piece jade hanging from my neck. No, in fact, I still have companions of my own, and I will never have to walk this path alone again. Early the next morning, Chen Jing was at Eunianu's residence. After knocking and waiting for a long time, no one came to open the door. Chen Jing then had to pick up the phone to call Eunianu heard Chen Jing say she possessed a precious jade piece and really wanted her to take some time to help check it. To her, this wasn't a very big or difficult task, so of course, she happily accepted immediately. She casually asked, "Where did this jade come from?" "Chen Jing," she replied, "yes, is an item Jangfan left behind." Upon hearing that, Xianxia's attitude suddenly changed. "Miss Chen, I am truly very sorry, but regarding this matter, you've decided not to help you anymore." Chen Jing found this sudden change extremely baffling, because clearly they had just settled the time and meeting place a moment ago, and yet now she suddenly changed her mind and refused so firmly. "Why is that?" Suddenly remembering her earlier words, Chen Jing spoke up. "Master Zhu is the reason. Because of that name." Jangfan Eunianu only replied with one sentence, "I have nothing to say to you. Goodbye." After uttering those words, she hung up very decisively and without hesitation, seeming still uneasy. She thought for a moment, and then she decided to put Chen Jing and GT's contact number on the blacklist in matters concerning the chief enforcer. It's best if I don't get involved, because doing so would be truly presumptuous and disrespectful. Chen Jing, seeing the call cut off halfway, hurriedly pressed the button to call again, but the other end only announced, "The number you are calling is currently busy. Please call again later." Chen Jing disconnected the call a third time, but the result was the same. It was true. She had been blocked. This younger brother switched at birth for 17 years. Who on earth is he? While Chen Jing was still on her way back to the Chen house, she received a call from her assistant. "Miss, the DNA test results are in. The results show he and Mr. and Mrs. Chen truly have a biological parent-child relationship. He really is your long-lost biological younger brother." But at this point, what does that even mean anymore? Because up until now, they have absolutely no clue as to my whereabouts. When Chen Jing brought the DNA test result back to the Chen villa, at this time, the whole family was gathered around the table for breakfast. Father Chen glanced at it and casually tossed the report aside. Just act like this, returning to the roots business never happened. After all, His temperament is naturally stubborn and unruly. Our Chen family has always only had one son named Chen Yu. Mother Chen immediately spoke up in fierce opposition. No matter what he's like, he is my own flesh and blood that I carried for 9 months. If you don't acknowledge him, that's fine. But I will definitely reclaim my child. Little Jing, pick up the phone and give him a call to ask where he is right now.
Chen Jing and LT Unk and GT's action of picking up food suddenly stopped halfway. She clicked her tongue regretfully. Oh no, I completely forgot to save his phone number. Mother Chen heard this and grew incredibly anxious and worried. Goodness, what should we do now? Where could he possibly go all by himself at this time? Although Chen Jing didn't actually have my direct contact number, she knew for sure she could find a way to reach me through a third party. So she turned to reassure her. Mother, please rest assured. Don't be so rushed and worried. Actually, I know exactly where he is staying. Go find him in a bit. Father Chen then spoke up. If you find him, pass on my message to him that if he truly wants to return to this house, he first needs to learn how to be obedient. Chen Jing just kept a long silence and didn't say another word because deep down, she knew very well that I had no intention of returning to the Chen family, and I am definitely not the type to be ordered around or forced into obedience.
As for me, after taking time to carefully study all those documents, I began my meditation and cultivation exercises for 2 continuous hours until around 7:00 a.m. After packing up, I leisurely headed down to the dining hall for breakfast. At this time of day, almost everyone in the dining hall was an enforcer of the bureau. Respectful greetings to me rang out continuously from everywhere. Greetings, Chief Enforcer. Good morning, Chief Enforcer. Respects, Chief Enforcer. I only nodded slightly to return each person's greeting until I picked out a meal to my liking and quietly sat down across from Tang Xuan. Only then did the atmosphere in the dining hall gradually return to silence. Eunianu spoke with total sincerity. Chief Enforcer Miss Chen Jing is currently trying her best to find out the origin of that jade talisman you left. I just let out an indifferent as if I didn't care much. Ignore her. No need to pay any attention. And from now on, you don't need to use formal address with me either. Eunianu acted very obedient and replied, yes, I understand. After that, she didn't say another word to avoid bothering me. After the 3 of them had finished their breakfast together, I then returned to the dormitory to pack up and bring my luggage down. And coincidentally, I bumped into Liu Ruian once again in the elevator. Liu Ruian broke into a bright smile and greeted warmly, good morning, little fan. Have a great day. I also gave a brief reply. Hello, Liu Yuan enthusiastically offered. Let me drive you to the university. You'll only feel at ease returning home after getting you there. I politely declined. No need. Brother Suan is already waiting for me down there. When the 2 of them walked out to the bureau's parking lot, they saw Tang Suan already waiting beside the car. And beside him, Eunianu was also present. Liu Ruian saw this and raised her eyebrows with curiosity. Seeing this new face, Eunianu took the initiative to come over and help carry my suitcase and carefully stowed it in the rear cargo compartment. At the same time, she didn't forget to introduce herself to everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Eunianu. I come from a family line of heavenly masters, and I was just accepted for work here starting yesterday. Liu Ruian also politely returned the introduction. I am Liu Ruian, currently an enforcer for Team 203. Tang Xuan then quickly stepped in and sat in the driver's seat. Let's send LT Unk and GT. Head out, little fan. Just sit comfortably in the back row as the car began to roll and slowly fade into the distance. Only then did Liu Ruian mutter to herself. Eunianu, I wonder what she's following along for. Inside the quiet space of the car, Tang Xuan was driving. Eunianu took the initiative to ask. Chief Enforcer, are you currently planning to build a squad of your own? Hearing that question, I glanced toward Tang Xuan driving up front. It turns out he knew everything beforehand, so he intentionally arranged for me to sit in the back row with her. Tang Xuan saw my gaze through the rearview mirror and nodded slightly. She's the one who took the initiative to find me and ask about candidates for your new squad. Actually, your teammates don't necessarily have to be students from that university, since Eunianu is just a newcomer who was recently hired. According to current regulations, she is still temporarily assigned to work at the bureau headquarters. Since early this morning, she had taken the initiative to find Tang Xuan to ask if all enforcers already had their own squads. Chief Zhang, do you have a squad yet? Tang Xuan noticed that she seemed eager to give it a try, so he told her about my plan to form a team. Tang Xuan was very curious, wondering what. My gaze shifted toward Eunianu continued, I am 20 years old. I am an orphan inherited from the Kangguan of Qian Mountain in Dangzhou. My specialty is talismans. I can catch ghosts and I know Tai Chi. I possess the eye of prophecy and I can see glimpses into the future. Chief Jiang, would you consider me? I caught the key point. It was the eye of prophecy. I recalled the moment on the plane, feeling as if I were being seen through by someone. Did you see my future? Eunianu nodded, answering honestly. Only a few images. Forgive me for my intrusion. My cultivation was far superior to hers. Those few seconds alone caused her to suffer a backlash. I inquired softly, can you speak of it? Eunianu spoke. I saw you. But before the words could leave her mouth, blood trickled from the corner of her lip. Eunianu's hands gripped the seat, unconsciously tightening her hold. Her face turned deathly pale. Enduring bone-deep pain, she continued, covered in blood. I reached out and placed my hand on her arm, cutting her off. That's enough. Say no more. And at that same moment, a surge of spiritual energy flowed into her body. Though I desperately wanted to know, I couldn't let someone else's life be the price. Tang Xuan and Eltia Unk and GT's expression grew solemn. Zhao Fan covered in blood. I was now very curious about what Eunianu had seen, but Eunianu couldn't speak of it. Xuan lowered her eyes, circulating the spiritual energy within her body, waiting for the intense pain to subside. She wiped the trace of blood from her lip. Thank you, Chief Jiang. Xuan recalled the images she had seen and persisted. Chief Jiang, please consider me. I will be a qualified teammate, reliable and loyal. I didn't know what she had ultimately seen, but her state right now, I feared it was tied to that very future. Is it because you saw the future? It's not necessary, Eunianu said stubbornly. It is necessary. I want to be your teammate, to be your companion. I kindly reminded her. Teaming up with me will be very dangerous. The things I am about to do could cost you your life. A look of determination appeared on Eunianu and Eltia Unk and GT's pale face. I know. I am not afraid regardless of life or death. Tang Yuan glanced at Eunianu through the rearview mirror. What exactly did she see? Regardless of life or death. I remained silent for a long time. If you want to join, then come. Eunianu instinctively smiled, hurriedly saying, yes, thank you, Captain. Because she was in such a rush, her vital energy surged. Eunianu quickly composed herself. The first member of the squad, Eunianu had joined. Tang Yuan said while driving, congratulations to both of you. Eunianu said sincerely, thank you. She took out a triangular folded talisman. This is a protection charm, a gift for the captain. Upon touching it, I felt a spreading warmth. It was a top-rate protection charm. Thank you. I thought for a moment, then took a jade talisman from my pocket and handed it to her. The effect was identical to the one I gave the Chen family, only the shape was different. Tang Xuan reminded Eunianu, keep this with you. It could save your life. Eunianu replied with a yes and thanked me. Noticing a hole in the jade talisman, she took a red thread from her bag and looped it through, then wore it around her neck. Tang Yuan smiled slightly. This Eunianu was indeed quite special. Both sincere and headstrong, she carried the passion of youth in her very bones. Every action struck a chord with Jangfan. Moreover, Eunianu and Jangfan were cut from the same cloth. Once they made up their minds, they would never give up. I took out a card and returned it to her. Xuan accepted with the Special Bureau's compensation. As a chief enforcer, I wouldn't be lacking money. Tang Yuan asked curiously, what is that? It's the bank card she gave me earlier. Tang Xuan looked toward Xun. Why did you give Xiaopan a bank card? Eunianu hesitated for a moment, but still chose to tell the truth. I was afraid the Chen family wouldn't treat him well. Afraid that, because of me, he came to this strange place only to end up living a wandering life. What exactly did Eunianu see? To give a bank card before even knowing his true identity, before she even knew who he was. She truly is like a generous fairy sent from above. Principal Sang received orders from higher-ups and already knew some of the news in advance, so he had been waiting for a long time. He treated them with extreme respect. Mr. Tang, all procedures have been completed. Mr. Jiang only needs to choose a major. Director Shi, see which major you'd like to choose. I looked at the paper in my hand. Weaponry Systems and Engineering. This is it. The Special Bureau has a specialized weapon research department studying how to combine firearms with spiritual energy to increase their power. From years of conflict with the monster and demon races, the Special Bureau noticed that ordinary firearms had very limited effects on them. As for large-scale weaponry, they were not only prone to causing friendly fire, but were also much harder to control. Their trajectories could be easily altered, and their power wasn't much greater than an enforcer's attack. If signals were cut during a major battle, large-scale weapons would become mere decorations. 15 minutes later, Someone brought an envelope and a small crate of books. Principal Sang handed the envelope to me. Inside are your student ID and dormitory key card, your class schedule, and the freshman handbook. Your dorm is room 707. Principal Sang gave each of them a business card. All right, everyone, feel free to contact me anytime if anything comes up. All three expressed their thanks and headed toward the dormitory area together. Principal Sang watched them leave, then breathed a sigh of relief. What exactly is Jangfan's background? It's not like placing people in the university is unprecedented, but I've never seen someone personally recommended by the chief director. Could he be the chief director's son? But their surnames don't even match? The three of them arrived at the dorm entrance. I can handle it myself. Tang Xuan said, I know. I just want to see what your room is like. If you're not comfortable sharing, you can just move out. I was silent for a moment. Brother Xuan, do you remember why I came to this university? Ex-Union let out a chuckle. She realized the commander looked like an overprotective father. I said to Tang Xuan, don't worry, I've shared living quarters before. Back when I was in Qingyun Valley, all the disciples lived together in a large courtyard. Though everyone had their own room, everyone ate and lived together. They went everywhere together, cultivating side by side. The moment I stepped into the dorm, I saw a boy doing a one-handed handstand against the wall. Song Jae quickly lowered himself, asking curiously, who are you looking for? I've been the only one living here until now. I showed him my student ID. Now there are two of us. Hi, I am Jangfan, a newly enrolled freshman. I've just been assigned to this room. After confirming everything, Senjai returned my student ID. Nice to meet you. I am Song Jae. I immediately cross-referenced the information in my head. Song Jae, 17 years old from West Zhou. Parents run a toy store. There is an only child, a freshman majoring in weaponry, systems, and engineering. During his physical, weak spiritual energy fluctuations were detected, proving he has a talent for cultivation, or that he was already a practitioner. Song Jae pointed to an empty bed. That one's available. You can take it. As he spoke, he cleared some wrenches off the desk. I stole a subtle glance. Tang Siwen and Eunianu were helping me unpack. Song was looking down at his phone, occasionally stealing glances at Eunianu. Eunianu sensed it, but didn't seem to care. She just focused on making my bed. Seeing the room was mostly settled, Tang Shua had many pending matters to attend to, so he didn't stay long. Xuan looked at me, then at Tang Xuan. What do I need to do? Tang Xuan thought for a moment. Follow me for now. Since Eunianu was free, she might as well help him test the training plan. Eunianu looked toward me, waiting for my instructions. I nodded. Go ahead. Then, remembering she was now my teammate, I added, call or message me immediately if anything happens. Once the two of them had left, Sanji finally looked up from his phone. Was that girl in the tracksuit your friend too? I nodded. I met her once before on a pedestrian bridge. She was running a fortune-dealing stall. Did you ask her for a fortune? Sanji shook his head. No, I just thought she looked pretty cool, so I took notice of her. Then I stood up. I'm going to walk around campus for a bit. There were no classes this morning. Sanji saw that I didn't want to talk much, so he didn't ask further. He volunteered. Let me come with you. As the two of them passed a lecture building, they unexpectedly ran into Chen Yu. The moment Chen Yu saw me, he instinctively blurted out, "What are you doing here?" Those with Chen Yu were all from the wealthy elite of the imperial capital. The news of the Chen family misidentifying their son and traveling to Nanju had already spread throughout high society. Everyone was waiting for a good show to see how the Chen family would handle this. Both the men and women beside Chen Yu were scrutinizing me. The girl looked at me with undisguised astonishment. I glanced at them. Turns out some of them looked familiar. It really is a small world for enemies. I didn't care to pay attention to Chen Yu, but the male student beside him spoke up. Stop right there. Xiao Yu is talking to you. Didn't you hear him? Typical country bumpkin. Uneducated. Chen Yu whispered, pretending to mediate. Don't and LTO Uncan GTT say that. I looked at that male student. Since you're so eager to protect your master, are you Chen Yu and LTO Uncan GT's dog? Does the Xiao family know about this? Zhao Jibo and LTO Uncan GT's face flushed with rage. Who's a dog? What nonsense are you talking? Chen Yu frowned. Jibo is just concerned about me. How can you say that? What does it matter to you if I speak to him? I don't care for your status and I am already sick of the Chen family. In a flash, the two sides exchanged dozens of moves. A circle of onlookers had already gathered. I stopped my hand just before Lin Quan's forehead. I concede. My God. Oh my God. I can't believe it. He beat Master Lin. That's incredible. Grandmaster, please let me follow you. Chan Jing. Chen Yu and Mang Han Yu were also in the crowd. Mang Han Yu looked at my back, her hands trembling. It's really him, isn't it? Chen Yu whispered. How does he know how to fight like this? A nearby classmate glanced at him. What do you mean fight? How vulgar. Chen Yu said disdainfully. Isn't it just brawling? Just some street thug tricks. Stabbing and fighting all day is so shameful. That friend glared at Chen Yu, then ignored him. Shen Jing tapped his shoulder and warned him. Lin Quan, this teacher is actually a 3-time consecutive Zhou Santa champion. Chen Yu didn't care about these competitions, so naturally, he didn't know. How is that possible? It took me a mere 5 minutes to defeat the Jehovah Santa champion. A street thug couldn't possibly do that. Lin Quan pulled back his stance, his eyes full of admiration. Who is your master? I shook my head. He's no longer with us, and I cannot reveal who it was. Lin Quan saw that I didn't want to talk, so he didn't push. Are you interested in joining the Sand Association? He'll even give you the president's seat. Laughter and chatter erupted from the surroundings. The current president of the Jinha Sand Association is Lin Quan, and he was specially appointed to this position. Yet, here he was wanting to step down for someone more talented and for this newly transferred student, no less. I replied calmly. I am not interested. Thank you. Lin Quan still didn't want to give up. Please reconsider. It's an LT Vunk and GT. A waste of talent for you to just sit in class. Come compete with me. You'll surely win the championship. No. After a moment's thought, I added, actually, I prefer studying. Even though I didn't mean it. In reality, I didn't care for studying at all, even if I had the ability to learn everything instantly. As someone who's benefited from this, you should just behave and look after yourself. My tone was very calm, but the aura of a superior radiating from me made Chen Yu feel afraid. I ignored them further, walking away with Sanji. Zhao Jibo suddenly snapped out of it. How did he know I was from the Chao family? Chao Yu. Did you mention me to him? Chen Yu shook his head. No, then how does he know I am from the Chao family? The girl standing beside them immediately hurried in the direction I had gone. Chaya Jibo called out from behind. Sister Yan, where are you going? Ho Yan didn't even look back, simply following behind me and Sanji. Once we reached the small wooded area on campus, Huo Yan quickly stepped up to catch up. I have something to say to you in private. The only daughter of the Huo family, Huo Yan, 20 years old, a junior at Jiangdao University, one of the 5 who risked their lives entering the Forbidden Zone, accidentally slipping through the barrier into monster territory 3 months ago. Moreover, she was the mastermind. I asked indifferently. Where? Wu Yan pointed toward the nearby woods. Let's go in there. I turned on the voice recorder hidden on my chest, then walked into the forest with Huo Yan. The surrounding trees were dense, completely blocking the view from anyone outside. Huo Yan looked around cautiously. Seeing no one, she lowered her voice. Jangfan, right? I know you're not an ordinary person. I saw everything that happened on Cloud M 3 months ago. Back then, I was only focused on saving people. It turns out Huo Yan was still conscious back then. So what? Hu Yan and LT Lunk and GT's face showed clear smugness. You wouldn't want the fact that you're not human to be known by others, would you? Gazing at the handsome face of the young man before her, Huo Yan unconsciously reached out to touch my face, but I took a step back to avoid her. Wo Yan didn't care. Be my boyfriend and then I'll keep your secret. My entire body exuded a sharp aura and a cloud mist. That edge was even more apparent, making it impossible not to admire me. For the past 3 months, that image had haunted Ho Yin and Ltiunk and GT's memory. Ho Yin smiled as if victory was already hers. My Hua family is much more powerful than the Chen family. What do you think? As she spoke, she reached out again. My gaze grew increasingly cold as I looked at her. I reached out and turned off the recorder just before she could touch me. I delivered a kick that sent her flying back outside the woods. Sanji heard the noise and quickly stepped inside. Instead, I called out, I am fine. Give me a moment. I waved my hand, setting up a barrier to block the sound from the outside, then moved toward Hu Yan. Hu Yan yelled furiously. What are you doing? I stood there, looking down at her. You knew I wasn't ordinary, and yet you still dared to threaten me. Aren't you a public servant? You're supposed to protect us. How can you hit someone? I stepped on her arm, pressing down hard. I said coldly, I could even kill you. I have restrained my temper a lot over the years, but I am no pushover who allows others to trample over me. Only now did Ho Yan begin to feel afraid. She began to beg. I was wrong. I am sorry. I am sorry. I was just possessed for a moment. I was wrong. The moment I lifted my foot, I barked. Shut up. Hu Yan didn't dare say another word. not even daring to cry out in pain. I withdrew the barrier and walked out of the forest while dialing a number on my phone. I whispered a few words into the receiver. Some Jay saw me walk out alone and asked, "What happened?" "Nothing. Let's go back to the dorm." Ho Yan had just taken a devastating kick and had even suffered a broken arm. She lay flat in the woods, unable to move at all. Sanji glanced toward the forest, then followed after me. Clearly, he had been standing quite a distance from me. Yet, my answer sounded crystal clear, as if right in his ear. How strange. After Sanji and I left, a person silently appeared in the woods. It was Wen Xianxia from the Special Bureau. Wen Xianxia looked at Liu Ruian's state and couldn't help but ask in surprise, "What did you do?" Seeing this, Liu Ruian, knowing he was no ordinary person, either quickly cried out, "The Jangfan guy. He's abusing his powers. He hit me. I am going to report him." When Xianxia crouched down, "Poor thing, but it's okay. You'll forget everything soon enough. Now look into my eyes." Saying that, he took out a palm-sized dream catcher and waved it 4 times before Liu Ruian and Tiank and GT's eyes. Liu Ruian immediately fell into a state of unconsciousness. When Xianxia put away the dream catcher, "Done. We can notify the Huo family to come pick her up now." When Shanjiang had wiped all of Huo Yin and Tiank and GT's memories from the last 4 months, not only about Jangfan, she wouldn't even remember what she learned this morning. I hadn't even made it back to the dorm when I received a message. "Chief Zhang Huoyan has been dealt with. The video has been sent to you." Erasing someone's memory always requires a valid reason or at least a formal report. When Shang Zhang was about to leave, so he decided to watch the video for a moment. Having watched it, he angrily turned back and kicked Huoyan twice more. "You ungrateful brat. How dare you use that to threaten Chief Zhang? You truly don't know the limits of the world." After venting his anger, when Shang Zhang returned to the bureau in a huff, he gnashed his teeth while drawing several formation diagrams. The enforcers from District 17, intending to report their work, saw his state and were so terrified they vanished. "Never mind, forget it. This isn't urgent enough to report right now." Huo Yan was rushed directly to the emergency room. Huo Yan and Tiank and GT's mother stood outside the hospital room crying and screaming. "Go and investigate. Who on earth did this? Daring to harm my daughter like this? I will definitely not let them get away with it." Hu Yilin and Tiank and GT's father snapped. "Investigate? What is there to investigate? Starting today, no one is to ever mention this again." That was a call from the authorities. He knew all too well what. She had definitely crossed the wrong person. Mother Huo still wouldn't let it go and said indignantly, "So is Yan just supposed to suffer for nothing? Didn't we just pay out 2 billion? Call their people here to investigate." "Shut up. You'll take that matter to your grave." Regarding the recent rescue mission at Cloud Mist Mountain, 2 people had died and many were seriously injured. Naturally, saving lives wouldn't be for free. For those 5 wealthy heirs, each family had to pay 1 billion, except for Huo Yan, who as the mastermind had to pay 2 billion. For a wealthy clan like the Yuo family, it was enough to cause a significant loss. As for the other 3 families, they had all gone bankrupt. At the Liu residence, as soon as Liu Ruian returned, she saw that both her father and mother were present, and sitting opposite them was none other than Shanjing. She said, dissatisfied, "Why do I see your face everywhere?" Her father immediately reprimanded her. "What?" Mother Liu waved her over. Liu Ruian then went and sat on the sofa beside her mother, slouching and loafing around. "Dad, why did you call me here?" Father Liu gets angry, gives her a kick. "You're never home all year round. Even after returning to the imperial capital, you still won't come home. What do you think I called you back for?" Mother Liu pretends to be annoyed and hits Father Liu. "Our daughter finally managed to visit home. What will you do if you kick her away?" After kicking Liu Ruian, Father Liu looks at Chen Jing. "Xiao Jing, please excuse us for the scene. Feel free to ask whatever you want." "Thank you, Uncle." Liu Ruian, where is Jangfan? Liu Ruian sits up straight, asks Chen Jing, "What do you want with him? He is a child of the Chen family. Naturally, we want to bring him home." Father Liu thinks to himself, "No wonder. I heard a long time ago that the Chen family took the wrong child. It turns out this Jangfan is the biological son." Liu Ruian sneers. "The Chen family's son is Chen Wu, not Jangfan." Chen Jing frowns. "The Chen family can afford to raise 2 sons. Jangfan will have a very good life once he returns home. We won't let him suffer any grievances." Liu Ruian raises her voice. "Hasn't he suffered enough already?" Lia's parents are both startled by her shout. Chen Jing is also taken aback. She didn't expect Liu Ruian to react so violently. After saying that, Liu Yuan gives a self-deprecating laugh. He never even cared about the Chen family. I won't disclose any information about him either. Don't waste your effort anymore. Having said her piece, she goes straight upstairs. Seeing this, Chen Jing doesn't feel right staying any longer, so she says goodbye to Leah's parents. Once Chen Jing is gone, Father Lu goes upstairs. Liu Yuan has already locked her bedroom door. Father Lu knocks on the door. Rune opened the door. Liu Yuan clumsily crawls out of bed and opens the door, hanging her head tiredly. She flops back onto the bed. Father Lu sits down beside her. Is Jangfan your friend? Liu Ruian gives a soft hum of agreement. Bring him over for a visit when you have the chance. Liu Ruian just hums again. How many days are you staying this time? 3 days. She had applied for 5 days of leave. She came back yesterday to pick up a friend, stayed home for 3 days, and will head back to wuxia on the 5th day. Right after she finished speaking, Liu Ruian and Tiang and GTS phone rings. It's the exclusive ringtone of the bureau. Liu Yuan immediately snaps out of her lethargy. She jumps up to answer the phone. A voice from the other end says, Liu Ruian, vacation is cancelled to be back here tomorrow. Liu Yuan is devastated. Why tomorrow? It's not immediate return. So, it means it's not that urgent. I don't want to go back. Stop whining and get back here on time. Liu Ruian says gloomily. Understood. She hands up the phone. She gives Father Liu a smile that looks worse than crying. Now, I only have 1 day left. At the training grounds of the Bureau headquarters, Eunianu easily completes a round of training drills. She looks at Tang Xuan, who is recording the time. She says, Commander Tang, this level of difficulty is nothing for a cultivator. Tang Xuan nods. I know these are all designed for normal people, standard military training drills. Naturally, there's no pressure for a cultivator. Tang Xuan releases his spiritual energy. A transparent barrier immediately forms, covering the entire training ground. Try it one more time. Eunianu puts the 50 kg weights back on her back. She easily finishes a lap, not even out of breath, nor breaking a sweat. Tangwen looks at her in surprise, records the time, asks her how she feels. Eunianu points at the barrier. It suppresses spiritual energy. Tangwen looks up at Zunian. I thought it wouldn't have any effect on you. I didn't expect your physical techniques to be so formidable, too. Eunianu says modestly. It's just average. I was very mischievous as a child. I've done plenty of dangerous things. If I hadn't made it, I would have met my ancestors long ago. Tang opens his phone, calls an enforcer over, tells him to give it a try, waits for him to finish the lap. He's so exhausted, he collapses on the ground, panting heavily and drenched in sweat. His time is 3 times longer than Eunianu. Eunianu starts to say something, but stops. Seeing her hesitation, Tang Xuan says, just speak your mind and enforce her. Tang Xuan nods. Eunianu smiles. No wonder Jangfan refused to form a team. Liu Yuan is displeased seeing this. What do you mean by that? Come over here and spar with me. Eunianu looks at Tang Xuan. Tang Xuan nods. Spar right here inside the barrier. No spiritual energy allowed. Let's see who wins. The commander has spoken. Eunianu agrees. Fine. The two of them begin hand-to-hand combat. Tang Xuan quietly observes both of them. 80% of his attention is focused on Eunianu. Liu is an enforcer who relies on strength and wide-reaching strikes. Eunianu stands there looking much smaller than him, but Eunianu's Tai Chi is refined to an extraordinary level, overcoming hardness with softness. Her movements to dodge attacks look effortless. After more than 10 moves, she uses a cloud hands technique to knock Liu down. Liu lies on the ground, grimacing. You're pretty good. Eunianu nods. You flatter me. Tangwen looks at Zunu. Liu, you can head back first. Eunianu, I didn't expect you to be this skilled. With your strength, you could easily form your own team and be its captain. How about it? Care to consider? Eunianu brushes the dust off her sleeve. If I weren't skilled, how would I dare be the captain's teammate? Commander Tang, there's no need to test me. The captain has already accepted me, so I will follow him forever just because of that illusory future you saw. Eunianu looks into his eyes. That's exactly why I'm getting even more curious. What exactly did you see? Eunianu says calmly since Commander Tang wants to know. I naturally won't hide it. Seeing her about to speak, Tang Xuan quickly raises his hand to stop her. Never mind, forget it. Wait until Xiop returns. If he finds your corpse here, I wouldn't know how to explain it. He's been alone ever since joining the bureau. He finally managed to get a teammate like this. Regardless of whether she is good or bad, if I made her disappear, then he would never accept a teammate again. He trusts my judgment in people and temporarily trusts Xian and Shu too. Tang Xuan asks, you agreed to join the bureau because of Jangfan, right? When he introduced the bureau to Ex-Union you only showed a bit of interest, but after he revealed my identity, Ex-Yunshu immediately agreed. Now it seems she really came here for me. Exunyu smiles and says nothing. Tang Yuan doesn't ask further. He continues taking Zunyanyu to check other categories, finally reaching a conclusion. Exunyu cannot be used as a testing standard. Very good as expected of someone Jangfan chose. Her strength is formidable. She's even better than many other enforcers. Eunianu asks, how are power levels ranked in the bureau? Tang Siwen holds a pen, scribbling revisions to the training plan. If someone doesn't know their own limits, then they just have a fight. Some department heads and branch directors earn their positions through fighting. Jangfan has also defeated quite a few people. Cultivation sects have specific realms and stages, but the bureau was established to fight against the demon and monster races, so we don't have all those complications. Besides, modern cultivation has no lightning or heavenly tribulations anymore beyond actual spiritual energy, strategy, experience, and techniques, and even weapons, are all very important. Eunianu nods, signaling her understanding. In the world of Taoist masters, those with low spiritual energy can still draw top-tier talismans. Spiritual energy is indeed not the only standard for evaluation. Tang Xuan changes the subject. However, the Bureau is researching spiritual energy measuring devices. It's expected to be able to measure spiritual energy levels to make training more convenient. I want to apply for dormitory housing. If possible, please place me near the captain. Tang Yuan nods. Go ahead and submit your application. He'll approve it. Once the testing is finished, Tang Xuan goes to Yuan and Ltia Unk and GTS office. Yunin looks at the changes in Xuanyang's file. Somewhat surprised, Xiaopan actually accepted Ex-Unu. Tang Xuan says she's a bit like Xion, both alone sharing the same obsession. It counts as a new beginning. I just hope she doesn't betray my trust. In the afternoon, Sanji takes me to class. Before class ends, the teacher says, the theoretical knowledge is mostly covered. Learning on paper alone is not enough. Next class will be the practical session. The practical session involves handling real weapons, assembling and using them by hand. Song Gid is also very happy. Finally, I can assemble firearms openly and legitimately. I quietly flip through the book. Fortunately, there's not much content. I can finish catching up in 2 nights. The next class is the day after tomorrow, so there's still time. After class, a female student wearing glasses comes to find Song Jae. Seeing me next to him, she pushes up her glasses. You're Jangfan, right? I nod, recalling information about Wang Kan. There are quite a few people from the list in this class. Hello there. I am Wang Qian, the class monitor. Let's add each other so I can add you to the class group. Let me scan your code. She just received a notification from the counselor that the class has a new student who is Song Jae's roommate, asking her to introduce me to everyone. She rushed to find me right after class. She takes out her phone to open the QR code. Song Jae also takes out his phone and quickly scans it before Wang Kan can. Wang Kan asks in confusion, aren't you 2 roommates? Sanji nods. Yeah, that's why we're adding each other now. Wang Qian is shocked inside. You mean you've been together all day and haven't even added each other yet? At the hospital, hearing that Huo Yan was in trouble, Chen Wu, Xiao Jibo, and Ming Hanyu all come to visit. Mang Hanyu was also one of the 5 who broke into the monster territory back then. When they arrive at the hospital, Ho Yan is sitting up in her hospital bed. Her arm is in a cast. Madame Huo is asking her what exactly happened. The 3 of them enter. They hear Hu Yan asking what happened to me. Didn't I just finish my exams? Madame Hu is confused. What exams? She turns to Mang Hanyu. Did you guys have exams today? Mang Hanyu says, no ma'am, there was only 1 class this morning. Nothing else after that. Her family called her back, so she went home first. She wasn't with Huo Yan, so she didn't know what happened. Hu Yan looks at Mang Hanyu. What do you mean no schedule? Didn't we agree to visit Gidshu after the semester exams? Mang Hanyu frowns. We already came back from SJU. It's been 4 months already. You were on a stretcher when we returned. You were hospitalized for 3 months. You were only discharged just before the new semester started. Who would have thought? We got lost as soon as we entered Wu Mountain and even ran into tigers and black bears. And then we met. Anyway, we almost lost our lives there. Mang Henyu thinks to herself that she shouldn't have followed Huo Yan just to please her. Huo Yan is annoyed. What nonsense are you talking about? Isn't it only May right now? Exams clearly just finished. We agreed to go to Sieg in June. Madam Huo rushes forward to touch Huo Yilan and LT Unk and GT's forehead. Xiao Yilan, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me like this. Xia Jibo panics. Sister Yan, it's already September. Doctor, someone call a doctor. Huo Yan is taken for a full-body checkup. The test results, of course, show that everything is normal. Madam Hu is frantic. What should we do now? Why did she suddenly lose her memory? The doctor says, everyone try to recall what happened today. Did she hit her head? Chen Wu recalls, we were planning to hang out yesterday. We had a few words with someone at school. Then Sister Yan suddenly left. Hearing him say that, Xiao Jibo suddenly remembers, we ran into that country bumpkin. The Chen family just brought back. Sister Yan was chasing after him. He must have done something. Huo Yan asks, what country? Bumpkin. Hearing those words, Madame Huo, a dark glint flashes in her eyes. They are all too busy talking to notice Madame Huo's expression. Mang Han Yu is surprised. Are you guys talking about Jangfan? He's at Central University. This is exactly why Mang Han Yu went home. Madame Chen is her aunt. She said Jangfan left on his own as soon as he was found. There was no news of him at all, so she asked the Mang family to keep an eye out. I didn't expect him to be right here at Central University. Technically speaking, I am her biological cousin. Xia Jibo says, exactly. I don't even know how he snuck in here. What? No idea. Ma'am, this matter is definitely closely related to that Jangfan. Mang Hanyu argues. He just arrived in Central University. How could he possibly harm Hu Yan? Hu Yan goes crazy. Who on earth are you all talking about? I don't know that person at all. Madame Huo smiles. All right. Xiao Yan needs to rest now. Jangfan, huh? It seems the Chen family doesn't value this biological son much. Then things will be much easier to handle. The three of them take the hint and say goodbye to Madame Huo and leave together. Of course, they don't live in the school dormitory. They have drivers taking them back and forth every day. Ming Han Yu and Chen Wu return to the Chen family home. At least there's a lead on Jangfan now after they left. Madame Huo immediately goes out to contact her people, ordering them to investigate that Jangfan. If found, bring him straight to the suburban villa. The Chen family receives news of me from Chen Wu and Ming Hanu.
Shen Jing immediately contacts Principal Zhang's secretary. Principal Zhang's secretary doesn't dare to casually disclose my personal information or my contact details, only says that the student Jangfan is a freshman in the weapons major. If anyone has business with him, it's best to come to the school and speak in person. After hanging up the phone, Chen Jing feels a bit puzzled. When we went to find Jangfan, wasn't he repeating 12th grade? Madam Chen asks, how did it go? Did you find out anything? In front of everyone, Chen Jing recounts. He is currently studying at the weapons department of Central University. Shen Wu is a bit anxious. Didn't he skip the entrance exam? Could there be some mistake? Central University's admissions are very strict. Even if the Chen family donated an entire building to the school, he would still have to pass the exam himself, just that the cutoff point might be slightly lower. Shen Wu thinks to himself how much effort he put in, how much heart and soul he spent to get into the arts academy with the lowest cutoff in the university.
He even ran away from the entrance exam. So, by what right does he get to study at the same university as me and even got into the weapons major with such sky-high cutoff points? Chen Jing shakes her head. I see. Wait until tomorrow. Well, no, once we go there and see. She is also very curious. He didn't take the entrance exam at all. How did Jangfan manage to get into Central University? However, if Jangfan really is studying at Central University, then perhaps his relationship with father will improve slightly. Mang Hanyu says, I'll head over to my aunt's tomorrow to inquire. She's already a bit curious about this cousin of hers. Now, the Yuo family also managed to find information on me. Of course, it was only superficial public information. At the same time, Tang Sun from the bureau received a report. Both the Chen and Ho families are investigating me. Eunianu, while texting, mumbles. It's one thing for the Chen family to be so persistent, but why is the Huo family investigating too? Captain, Wen Shangjiang, it's probably because of the Huo Yan incident. Commander Tang, do you need to handle this? Tang Xuan thinks for a moment. Let's wait and see. Xiaon won't let himself be disadvantaged. If they really dare to touch the top enforcer of the bureau, then regardless of whether they knew about it or not, they're finished. When Shang asks, should we inform Chief Zhang about this? Tang Xuan motions him to look at Eunianu. Eunianu just happened to put her phone away. So, did you inform Xion? Eunianu nods. Already did. When Shang Zhang is curious, you're a rookie. How can you be so close to Chief Zhang? Eunianu flashes a proud smile because I am his teammate. When Shang Zhang is shocked, Chief Zhang agreed to form a team. Eunianu covers her ears and walks a bit further away. After hanging up on the Chen family, the secretary calls Principal Zhang, reporting the situation. I soon received a call from Principal Zhang. I understand. Thank you, Principal. Sanji digs into his ear with his hand. I am telling you first. I didn't mean to eavesdrop on your call. Who was calling you? It was the principal. The dorm is only this big. I couldn't avoid hearing it if I wanted to. I nod. Yeah, the principal called. Is there some trouble? Not really. I can handle it. It's just the Chen family and the Huo family. I look at my other phone. A text from Eunianu just arrived. Captain, the Chen family and the Huo family are investigating you. I reply. I know, thanks. Song steals a glance. He sees me using two phones, one black, one white. Many people like using two devices like that to separate work from private life. Do I also want to separate my school life from my personal life? My second day of classes, the first period, P. The P classes at Central University are quite strange. At other universities, you only need to take 2 years to earn enough credits, and you can even choose your own sports. But at Central University, you have to take 3 years. There's no choice because the school has already arranged everything. 3 years, 3 subjects, sand, swimming, and mountain climbing all are essential survival skills. It's considered very worthwhile to learn. 2 classes are held together. The PE teacher waves his hand. Everyone run 5 laps first 2 km. Even though everyone had mentally prepared beforehand, they couldn't stop the complaining all around. I quietly run right next to Songga. Both of us quickly finished the 5 laps, leaving everyone else far behind. Songji is slightly out of breath. He wipes the sweat from his forehead. He turns his head and sees that I have no reaction at all. Not even a single drop of sweat can be seen. Aren't you tired? It's just average. The PE teacher, Mr. Lin, walks up to the two of them, seeing that your condition is very good. You're really a good prospect. Your physical fitness is quite impressive. Do you want to consider specialized training? I politely refuse. No, I don't have any intention for that, Mr. Lin feels it's a real pity. Just think it over carefully. I continue to refuse. No thank you, sir. Fine then. What a waste of talent. While waiting for the students from both classes to finish running, I hear someone ask, who was that running next to Sanya? He finished right at the same time as Sanji. Could there be another monster just like Sanji? Back during military training, Songjai had already revealed his incredible physical fitness, coming first in the 5,000 meters long run, coming first in the weighted run. No one in the entire company could match him in direct combat, hitting the bullseye 8 times in a row in shooting practice. 2 hits in the 9 ring. Songjai has become the golden boy the coaches can't stop talking about. Every coach in the company is saying, take a look at that Songji from class 2. Wang Qin felt helpless. That's the new guy, Jangfan. He's roommates with Songga now. A student was trailing at the very back of a line gasping for air after just 5 laps. Can being Sanji's roommate really boost his stamina? He might as well just request a dorm transfer. Teacher Lin clapped his hands to signal a gathering. Gather up. Everyone get into your lines. Warm-up is over. First, let's review what we learned in the last lesson. Song, come up and demonstrate. You there? Come up and assist him. Yes, I am pointing at you. Song quickly spoke up. Wait, he wasn't in class last time. Teacher Lin nodded. I know, just give it a try. Teacher Lin obviously knew ID never attended today. When we lined up, there was one extra person. That extra person was me. Besides, with my physique, if I had ever been here, the teacher would definitely have remembered me. But he felt that I was definitely no ordinary person. Not attending class doesn't mean not knowing the moves. Songji was hesitant at first, but when he saw I could block his strikes, he began to grow bolder. Sinning kicks, sweep kicks, axe kicks. I parried or dodged every single one of them cleanly. The rest of the students were absolutely stunned. Am I suffering from amnesia? Is this really what we learned last lesson? That was a push kick. Good heavens. Was that a backflip? How can he flip like that without any leverage? He just jumped back once and I thought he was about to take flight. Seeing the two perform Heil maneuvers, Teacher Lin didn't even call for a stop. He muttered to himself. This new kid is quite something. Every move, every strike is textbook perfect. He's clearly had systematic training. Sanji was the first to stop. He could sense that I was holding back. His new roommate was truly formidable. All right, it seems everyone has learned well. Let's continue the lesson. Teacher Lin demonstrated while explaining. Then came individual practice and practicing in pairs. Sanji pulled me over and asked his old teammate Liang. Jangfan just got here. He doesn't have a partner yet. Can the 3 of us train together? Lai Chang nodded eagerly. Sure, of course. Sanji was already a master. Now with another expert joining, he was overjoyed to ride their coattails. However, before they could even start, I was called out. Jangfan, someone is here to see you. Outside the gymnasium, 3 people stood facing me. Chen Jing, Chen Yu, and Mang Han Yu. My gaze lingered on Mang Han Yu for a brief moment, immediately followed by an undisguised look of impatience.
Chen Jing, you're interrupting my class. Chen Jing acted as if she didn't see my expression. She was somewhat excited. Xiao, are you really attending Central University? Shen Yu was a bit restless. You got into Central University without even taking the entrance exam. Seeing me look his way, Chen Yu put on a slightly aggrieved face. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just a little curious. Mangan Hanu glanced at Chen Yu upon hearing that. A look of scrutiny appeared in her eyes. I didn't bother paying her any attention. Instead, I looked at Chen Jing. What do you want, Xiao? You're studying at Central University. Dad will definitely be happy when he finds out. Let me take you home. Well, go talk to Dad. He will surely acknowledge you. Chen Jing still hadn't given up on bringing me back to the Chen family. I spoke in a stern voice. Chen Jing, do you not understand human speech? He'll say this one last time. I'm not going back to the Chen family. The Chen family and I have no relation whatsoever.
Mr. Chen never wanted to accept me anyway, but you keep hounding me relentlessly. Is it because I look like an easy target to you? Chen Jing instinctively protested. No, I just feel that. You feel? What do you feel? Chen Jing didn't continue. She thought of me as just a younger sibling. She thought I was all alone. She thought that me being accepted into the Chen family was something others would beg for, but never get. Chen Jing, the Chen family is nothing but trouble to me. Stop bothering me. Then I looked toward Chen Yu and you. I have neither the mind nor the time to play true and false young master games with you. No need to keep acting so pitiful either. You White Lotus. I've tasted far too much malice in my time, so I can sense it very clearly. The malice others hold toward me. Chen Yu was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect me to be so direct. I didn't care about them. I turned around and walked straight back inside. Mang Henyu watched my retreating back. She just found something about it very familiar. Where had she seen him before? She wondered to herself. Jangfan, the surname Zhang. Chen Jing hurriedly called out, Hey, wait a second. Leave your contact info. But I had already entered the gym. Chen Jing thought for a moment, then she chased after me anyway. Mang Hangyu asked Chen Jing. You said Jangfan didn't take the entrance exam. Chen Jing was busy looking for me, so she didn't think much of it. That's right. He ran away right before entering the exam room. Mang Hanyu fell into deep thought. Her heart began to race. Could it be him? The 3 of them walked inside together, searching for my figure in the gymnasium. I was standing in a corner watching Sonjai and Lai Chang spar. Actually, Sanji was just acting as a practice target for Lai Chang. Teacher Lin walked up and stood beside me. What do you think? Footwork is unstable. Transitions between moves are still stiff. Too many openings. Lin Quan pondered. He rolled his wrists. Suddenly, he threw a punch toward me. My body didn't even waver. I raised my hand and blocked the attack dead. Lin Quan smiled. His other hand immediately followed up with a strike. I brushed it aside with my other hand, immediately followed by a sweet kick. I pressed down on Lin Quan's hands, and I leaped into the air, a backflip landing right behind Lin Quan. Lin Quan instantly turned around, unleashing a roundhouse kick. I leaned back and dodged it with ease. Lin Quan laughed and said, Impressive. As he spoke, he threw another punch, even faster than before. I remained calm as ever, neutralizing both of their techniques. I said, Actually, I prefer practicing with a sword. Lin Quan looked around without further persuasion. He waved his hand to dismiss everyone. Lin Quan was just about to turn away when I called. Teacher Lin, could I have your contact information? Lin Quan raised an eyebrow. I haven't even had the chance to ask for yours yet, and you beat me to it. Talk about an upset in the natural order, but Lin Quan still left his phone number. I immediately sent that number to Tang Siwen. Lin Quan, Central Province Santa Champion. Very good skills. There are spiritual fluctuations in him. Tang Xuan replied. Received. Xiop and having fun at school. I replied. Class is starting. Tang Sai Yuan chuckled softly. Xuan Shu put her gun away, looking at him. Did Xiao Fan set his sights on someone first? Have the investigation department check Lin Quan's background. Physical education class ended. I walked toward the classroom with Song. Only Mang Han Yu was still following behind. Chen Yu went to class with a restless mind. Chen Jing, having failed to get the contact info, had gone home. After all, she knew I was at Central University. She'd find me one way or another. She planned to go back and discuss it with her father. As everyone passed through the Camper Woods, Mang Han-yu stepped forward quickly. Jangfan, I have something to say to you in private. Sanji thought this sounded familiar. Mang Han-yu pointed to the woods nearby. It and LT-Unk and GTLL, be quick. You go on ahead. Sanji shook his head. It and LT-Unk and GTLL wait for you here. Class starts in 20 minutes. Mang Han-yu said hurriedly. I won't make you both late for class. I have a class next hour too. It was that same stretch of woods. The person standing opposite me was now Mang Han-yu. I recall the information about Mang Han-yu, 19 years old, third-year student, youngest daughter of the Mang family in Central Province. She has an older sister, one of the 5 wealthy socialites who broke into the Forbidden Zone. As a precaution, I reached out and turned on my audio and video recorder. Mang Han-yu brought her hand to her mouth and coughed softly. She seemed a bit reserved. My name is Mang Han-yu. Technically, I am your cousin. She was trying to close the distance, but I refused. Your cousin is Chen Yu. The attempt at friendliness failed. Mang Han-yu gave a forced laugh. Aha, well, we're in LT-Unk and GT. All family. Mang Han-yu looked down at the ground, not daring to look me in the eye. She asked. We met before, haven't and LT-Unk and GT? I asked back. Where? Mang Han-yu asked tentatively. The Yanwu mountain range in West Province. Having said that, she carefully glanced at me. I looked at her. Face unchanged, I said. Go on. Having made a start, Mang Han-yu spoke more fluently. I was unconscious at the time, but I woke up once in the middle of it. It definitely wasn't a dream. I saw people flying in the sky. People were fighting. Then someone fell from the sky and stopped the enemy. Mang Han-yu looked straight into my eyes. I remembered that back for the past 3 months. There's no way I am mistaken. It was you. She didn't know how to describe the scene back then. She seemed to have seen so much blood and heard so many people shouting something. It just felt like everyone was in utter despair. Then someone descended from the void with just a wave of his hand. He blocked every single enemy attack. She had heard those people calling him Chief Enforcer Jang. I narrowed my eyes slightly. So the last person who threatened me is currently in the hospital. I don't have any other intentions. I just wanted to thank you. With that, she bowed deeply. I know that without you, we probably wouldn't have been able to come back. Everything matched up. Jangfan was indeed the chief enforcer. Jang, that day just happened to be the first day of the entrance exams. So, did he skip the exams just to save them? I looked at her, still calm and unhurried. Are you done? Han-yu was dazed for a moment. She nodded. You've signed the confidentiality agreement, haven't and LT-Unk and GT? Mang Han-yu nodded again. Don't worry, I've never told anyone. Not even my parents know that. Good. Then the Bureau's listening devices didn't show anything unusual about her either. Those who signed the agreement would be monitored for a period. When sensitive keywords leaked information, the device would trigger an alarm signal. I turned to leave. Mang Han-yu snapped out of it and hurried to catch up. He didn't deny it, which meant everything she saw was real. Was he really that person? Oh my god. Song Jai saw me come out and saw that Mang Han-yu seemed very excited. He didn't ask much. Let's go. Time for class. Mang Han-yu followed the two to the lecture hall, trying to calm herself down a bit. Then she turned toward the building next door. She wasn't lying. She really did have a class. But Mang Han-yu couldn't hear a single word. Even when she went home after school, she couldn't stop tossing and turning, thinking about it. Seeing her like that, her sister, Ming Shan, curiously asked because she looked both agitated and happy. Mang Han-yu quickly denied. No, nothing's wrong. It was true. She was excited, but this matter could not be revealed. It could only be suppressed in her heart. Man was the one who watched her grow up. It would be strange if she actually believed her. She thought her younger sister was starting to fall in love, so she warned her to maintain a sense of propriety. Mang Han-yu was baffled. Propriety for what? At the Special Abnormalities Bureau. No. 1. Tang Su-wen was holding Lin Quan's file. Lin Quan, 24 years old, native of Central Province. Simple social relations. Family of 3. Father runs a martial arts hall. Mother is a professor at Central University. Studied Santa with his father since childhood. At age 22, he won the Central Province Sand Championship. Currently a Sana instructor at Central University, and also the president of the Central Province Sand Association. Tang Sui-wen called Exun and Shu. Come with me to recruit someone. Exun and Shu had a hunch. Was it a recommendation from the captain? Tang Zu-wen nodded. It's his PE teacher. Lin Quan lived alone. After afternoon classes, he returned home. He was still thinking about how to persuade me. From childhood to adulthood, had never seen such a good prospect. Winning the Santa Championship for all 5 provinces wouldn't even be an issue. I had asked for his contact info. Did that mean I was also interested? While deep in thought, a knock came at the door. Opening it, he saw a man and a woman. Lin Quan asked, "Is something the matter?" Tang Su Wen showed his ID card. "Greetings, Comrade Lin Quan. I am Tang Su Wen from the Command Department of the National Special Abnormalities Bureau. Can we talk for a moment?" Standing nearby, looking at this familiar greeting, only this time she was standing on the other side of the line. Lin Quan frowned. What was that? He took Tangu and LT Unk and GT's card to examine it closely. Immediately after, he suddenly remembered something. "Is it about Jangfan?" Tang Zuan nodded. "Recommended by Chief Enforcer Zhang. Can we have a chat?" In the evening I made time to read. I had to immediately make up for the cultural knowledge ID missed over the past month. Tang Zuan sent a message. "Lin Quan has joined." I replied, "Excellent." Tang Yuan messaged back, "Don't be in a rush." I touched the piece jade hanging around my neck. "Not in a rush. Sooner or later, we and LT Unk and GTLL meet again." Before the shooting practice session, I finally finished reading those books. The principles of various firearms, the methods of assembly were all etched deep into my brain. In class, the teacher led everyone to the practice range. First, assembled a handgun on the table in front of you. Each person gets 10 rounds for target practice. The first practice session won't be graded. Start. Song Jae was standing right next to me. I picked up the components to examine them carefully. Then I heard bang bang coming from the side. Right after was the voice of the automated system announcing the results. Song Jae had finished assembling and had started shooting. Lai Cheng called out from the other side, "Song Jae, your hands are insanely fast. All 10 shots hit the 10 ring. That's incredible." After Song Gi finished, he still wanted more. Sensing my gaze, he turned to look at me. I whispered, "Very impressive." Then I began to assemble my own components, following the steps in the book precisely, neither rushed nor delayed. Song Jae watched me assemble. It was a textbook perfect. I raised my hand and fired the first shot as a test. The announcement 8 ring. That sound was drowned out by the rings 5, 6, and 8 being reported all around. No one paid attention. Once I found the feel for it, I raised the gun and continued. The 10 ring announcements rang out consecutively, piercing through the air, causing everyone to freeze in their tracks. Every eye turned to find the source of that sound. I put the gun down as expected. I still preferred using a sword. These 80 targets could all be taken down with a single sword stroke. Shooting required pulling the trigger 80 times. Song gave a thumbs up in admiration. "That's miraculous." He realized this was my first time using this type of gun. The first shot was clearly to test the feel, but I had adjusted immediately. In an instant, the accuracy reached 100%. Lin looked at the two of them. "Do you guys mind if one more person joins your dorm?" He wanted to catch some of the luck from these grandmasters. He could handle the assembly part, but who knew this? Thing's recoil was so strong. Even after finishing, his hands were still trembling uncontrollably. His highest score was only a 7 ring. Teacher Chen Yuan walked over and directly grabbed the two of them, leading them toward a different training room. "It's a pity you two didn't join a military academy. That's where the elite of the weapons industry gather." At the new location, there was still a table full of components, but it seemed it wasn't just a single item. Shen Yuan gestured. "Begin the assembly." Song Jae took a glance. Then he sprang into action. Clink-clank sounds rang out. His hand speed was extremely fast. I observed carefully, recalling what was in the books, and began to assemble. Only I remained poised and leisurely, a bit on the slower side. Sanji finished first. Then he stood and watched me work. He felt that my assembly movements were very pleasing to the eye. They brought a sense of absolute serenity. I finished the assembly, finishing second to last. Looking at the remaining components, these weren't in the book. Observing similar components, I relied on my meager experience to put them in their corresponding positions, but there were still a few it had never seen before. So, I stopped. "I don't know these." Teacher Chen came closer to inspect. "This is specialized knowledge. You won't find it in the textbooks." Then he turned to ask Sanji, "How do you know these things?" The thought that he was being interrogated flashed through Sanji's mind. Song Gi stammered, "Oh, I've read about them in some extracurricular books." I added he borrowed them from upperclassmen, sir. Song played along. Right. I borrowed professional textbooks from the upperclassmen. The two of them played off each other smoothly, creating a fairly reasonable excuse. Whether Teacher Chen believed it or not didn't really matter. He didn't press further out to target practice. Compared to the 25m targets earlier, these targets were already 50m away. Song Jae went first. He raised the gun and began to fire. The announcement followed immediately. 9 ring. The subsequent shots were all 10 rings. Song-ga put the gun down. Then he and the teacher looked toward me. I recalled the shooting stance from the book. My every movement was as if it were a carbon copy straight out of the book. My face remained perfectly calm. I continued firing. The announcement rang out again. All 10 rings. Teacher Chen stared at me intently. Is this really your first time using a gun? I shook my head. I've tried before, but not this model. This is my first time with this specific one. There's a shooting competition coming up in Central Province. I have 2 slots to participate. I plan to nominate you both. I replied nonchalantly. Thank you, teacher, but I am not going. Both Song Jie and the teacher looked at me simultaneously. Both wanted to ask why not go. I simply said because I don't want to. Teacher Chen thought I was facing pressure, so he comforted me. It's all right. Your talent is excellent. Just focus on training for a bit longer, then you will definitely catch up to the other competitors, because most of the participants had been learning to shoot since childhood. I remained absolutely firm. I repeated, I am not going. Teacher Chen frowned. Are you worried about something? A thought flashed through Song Jae's mind, but he failed to catch it in time. I am not worried about anything. I am just not going. Just as I finished speaking, it was also time for class to end. Teacher Chen had to ask for their contact info, intending to find another occasion to persuade them. As for the Huo family, Madame Huo listened to the report from her subordinate. So angry, she smashed the glass in her hand. That Jangfan kid is that good at fighting. Xiao Yinan and LT GTS injuries definitely have something to do with him. She ordered, bring him to the villa in the suburbs for me. The bodyguard looked troubled. But, madam, he stays inside Central University all the time. He refuses to leave the school gates. We don't dare enter the campus to seize him directly. A cruel glint flashed in Madame Huo and LT GT's eyes. Then we must find a way to lure him out of the school. Central University, 10 p.m. My phone rang. It was the number I use for daily business. Hello, you have a delivery downstairs. Okay, I got it. I asked Song Jae, can deliveries be sent right to the bottom of the building? Song Jae didn't even look up. Sure. Did you order food? I stood up and headed out. No, I am going out for a bit. I won't be back tonight. Sanji was busy assembling something in his hands, so he didn't think much of it. Fine. 5 minutes after I left, Sanji finished his assembly. He suddenly realized something was off. I hadn't ordered any food, so why did I ask him if food could be delivered downstairs? Sonji stuffed what he just built into his bag. He grabbed a wrench from the drawer as well. Then he rushed downstairs. Downstairs, a man in a tracksuit saw me come down. He said, here is your delivery. I raised my hand to adjust my collar. I discreetly turned on the camera and walked toward him. It turned out the bag in his hand was empty. At that same moment, something poked into my waist. It's a knife. Hand over your phone. Don't make a sound. Walk toward the south gate. I obediently handed him the white phone. Then I walked toward the south gate. He was slightly suspicious. Why is he so calm? But to finish the mission quickly, he didn't give it much thought. He stood close beside me, pretending to be a friend, but the knife never left my side. We met a few classmates along the way. Jangfan, where are you going so late? I just gave a non-committal hum and said nothing more. As soon as we exited the south gate, I saw a black car parked in the corner. He threatened me and forced me into the car. I opened the door and got in. Just as he was about to close the door, someone came rushing over. A flying kick sent him sprawling to the ground. It was Sanji who had caught up. Sanji didn't see me when he got downstairs. He ran into some classmates. He asked if they saw anyone with me heading for the south gate. So Sanj chased us all the way. Seeing I had already entered the car, at first glance, it looked like I was with a friend, but looking closer, the person was holding a knife. I quickly got out to hold Sanji back, unintentionally giving the other guy a chance to get up. He had been kicked down. He didn't have time to think. He just thought he had been careless. His opponents were just 2 kids after all. The driver also rushed out to help. Both of them threatened us with knives. Both of you get in the car. Otherwise, this knife won't show any mercy. Song started to reach into his pocket, but I held him back. Let's beat them at their own game. I want to see who's behind this. My voice sounded right in his ear. But in reality, I hadn't even opened my mouth. The 2 men in front of us didn't react at all, thinking it was an illusion. The man in black shouted at Song Jae, take the phone out of your pocket. Song Jae saw me nod. Only then did he hand over the phone. The 2 of us were escorted into the car. The car drove for a solid hour before arriving at a villa in the suburbs. Dozens of men in black were standing in the yard entering the house. There were over a dozen more. Sanji gripped the object in his pocket tightly. 2 fists are no match for many hands. It was a lapse, but I remained calm. I am already here. Why haven't you called out your boss yet? Madame Huo finally came down the stairs. She looked at the 2 of us. Why are there 2 of you? The man in black replied. That guy chased us on his own, so I brought them both back. Forget it. It's all the same, she said, sitting on the sofa. The men in black surrounded Song Jie and me. Seeing that neither of us showed any fear, she felt even more hatred. What did you do to my daughter? I calmly replied, asking about your daughter. You must already know everything. She needs to say it herself. That way, the evidence will be complete. To Ruian, our Huo family is not someone you can afford to offend. You better confess everything truthfully. Sanji became even more alert. A powerful family like the Huos in the imperial capital, having a few lives on their hands means nothing to them. I patted Sanji's arm, still perfectly composed. Looking at Madame Huo's hate-filled face, I decided to add fuel to the fire. I didn't do much, just gave her a kick and broke her arm by stepping on it. After saying that, I even smiled. You already know, so why ask? She probably doesn't remember anything anymore, right? She grabbed the teacup beside her and threw it straight at me. I stood perfectly still, slightly tilting my head to avoid it. Her aim was quite good. It hit a black-clad bodyguard behind me. The one who was hit didn't dare complain. He just clutched his forehead in silence. She hissed, "Break both his arms and legs for me. You dare hurt my daughter. You're asking for death." The thugs immediately charged. Song Jae was quick, stuffing something into my hand. Then he pulled something out of his own pocket. He fired directly at the nearest man. A deafening gunshot echoed through the villa. Let's see who dares come forward. The object in Song Jae's hand was clearly a pistol. It was something he had crafted and assembled himself. I looked down. In my hand was a wrench. Didn't they say we were just naive college students? Making a gun is one thing, but why bring a wrench along too? The wounded bodyguard fell down, wailing. He clutched his thigh tightly. Sanji's single shot terrified everyone. As expected, no one dared take another step. Madame Huo was also in deep shock. She didn't expect a freshman to be carrying a gun. Sanji pointed the gun and ordered the thugs to back off. A few of them reflexively retreated. Madame Ho stood up. Don't let them escape. The thugs didn't dare move any further. They stared intently at the object in Sanji's hand. That muzzle made everyone fear they would be the next to fall. Sanji turned and pointed the gun at Madame Huo. Tell them to disperse right now. She tried to pull someone else to use them as a human shield. Song Jae gritted his teeth and shot her in the leg. Freeze! She screamed and collapsed. She hadn't believed Song Jae would actually fire. She cursed and threatened simultaneously. Do you even know who I am? Song Jae's face was slightly pale. He certainly knew she was the lady of the Huo family. Offending her would lead to no good end, but in the current situation, getting out safely was the priority. Sanji's gun remained aimed at her. Make them get out of the way. She didn't dare dodge anymore. Move. Song Jae slowly backed away. Jangfan, let's send Tiang and GT. Go. I walked close beside him, looking at his state. He was clearly terrified, yet he still gritted his teeth to leave me out. I could have left on my own. Song Jae replied through gritted teeth. What? He had a gun in his hand. Leaving alone would surely be easier than with 2. But if I left you here, who knows what would happen? He didn't dare imagine it. As they were about to exit the house, the bodyguards in the yard gathered at the door. Sanji realized this wasn't going to work. He moved quickly to take her hostage. She screamed in a panic. Stop in. Block them for me. The thugs surrounded Madame Huo. She stared at Sanji. How many bullets are in your gun? 6 or 8. I have so many people here. You two won't escape. Sanji gritted his teeth, ready to fire again. He had a total of 8 bullets. A hand reached out from the side and pressed down on the gun's frame. Sanji and Tiang and GT's voice trembled slightly. Jangfan. I patted his arm to reassure him. It's and Tiang and GT. Okay, don't be afraid. Sanji's heart suddenly became unusually calm, even though he didn't know what cards I had left. For some reason he trusted me completely. I looked toward Madame Ho. Why don't you ask what Huoyan did? She gave a cold laugh. No matter what Cheyenne did, lowly commoners like you have no right to harm her. Commoners. It seems her ingratitude and returning kindness with evil is thanks to her excellent family upbringing, right? She looked full of contempt. Even if she kills someone, it's not her fault. She is still just a child. It's you lowly people who provoked her. My expression darkened. Murder is against the law. Madame Huo found it ridiculous. The law. Our Ho family has never feared the law. The Huo family has trampled on plenty of ants like you. For the Ho family to reach today's glorious status, We've stepped on more than just a life or two. I suddenly burst out laughing. Ants, you say? Everyone looked at me in confusion. In this, you humos really think you're above everyone, treating ordinary lives like trash. My voice was full of cruelty, cold as if it were made of shards of ice. With that, I raised my right hand. A blinding blue light erupted from my palm. I flipped my hand and slammed the light into the ground. The spiritual energy bypassed Songji beside me and spread powerfully in all directions. Everyone around was blasted back, collapsing onto the floor. Under the massive pressure, they couldn't even struggle to get up. At that moment, a loud explosion occurred. The room door was blown off its hinges, crushing the bodyguard standing outside. In an instant, only Song Ji-ye and I remained standing. Song Jae slowly lowered his gun, looking around in a daze. Everyone was screaming and wailing in terror, but they were all pinned firmly to the floor. Madame Hu stammered in fear. Ghost, demon, monster. I stepped toward her 1 foot at a time, watching her try to struggle, trying to retreat, but unable to move an inch. I enunciated every word. Nothing is more like a monster than your Huo family. If I were a demon, I would definitely wipe out your entire clan. Didn't you want to break my arms and legs? I gave a light flick of my hand. Madame Huo wailed in agony. Her curses never stopped, but all her limbs had been snapped. I looked down at her. My expression was completely indifferent, as if looking at a corpse. I am returning the favor in full. Then I led Song Jai out. Song Gi suddenly remembered something. He ran over to one of the men in black and retrieved both our phones, checking the time. It was almost midnight. Song Jai asked, "Did you call the police?" I replied while texting, "No need, someone will come to handle it. I have already sent the video to Tang Xuan." Tang Xuan replied, "Video received, it'll take care of the rest." I texted back, "Good, I am heading back to the headquarters." Tang Yuan replied, then stopped by the training ground, too. They had anticipated the Huo family would act, but no one moved to stop it beforehand. For a family like this, the lives of common people carry no weight. There is always someone covering for them, but my identity and status are more than enough. Daring to attack the chief enforcer of the special bureau as long as I don't let it slide. The Huo family won't escape punishment. The two of them walked out of the house. Song Jae looked at the people kneeling in the yard. Can't they get up? Once I leave, then they will be able to stand. As long as they are under my pressure, they naturally cannot move. The two left the villa. Outside was a remote wilderness. It seems Madame Huo had prepared. Well, this place is the spot she usually uses to deal with those who dare to displease her. Sanji struggled to order a car on his phone. At this hour in this place, no one will take the order, he muttered. Maybe we should just steal one of their cars. I asked. The dorm gates must be locked by now, right? Sanji nodded. Yeah, no one is picking up the ride. Sanji suddenly slumped down. I looked at him. What's wrong? Let me rest a bit. My legs are a bit shaky. Sanji felt like he had just returned from the dead. For 17 years he had only known peace and love. This was the first time he had faced such drama. Sanji looked up at me. Who exactly are you? Knowing you for a few days has been more intense than my whole 17 years. I looked at him. We've only known each other a few days, and you dared to follow. I had never told Song Gao what I planned to do. We were just roommates. That didn't mean we would become best friends. I didn't expect Sanji to risk his life like that. Sanji was still sitting. How could I have known you'd get into such big trouble? A youth holding a gun with a momentary burst of courage. He hadn't thought much about it at the time, but even knowing it was the Huo family, Sanji had still stood in front of me with a gun. I smiled faintly and sat down in front of him. Let me carry you? Sanji shook his head. No, it'll be fine after a short rest. I explained. Get on. I am taking you somewhere. Song Jae climbed onto my back. Can you even carry me? I'm quite heavy. He was 1.7 meters tall and had been athletic since childhood, studying martial arts for self-defense and sand as well, so he was all muscle. I carried him, standing up steadily. Hold on tight. If you're scared, just close your eyes. Sanji didn't understand. Huh? I gently soared up into the air. Soon, we reached an altitude of 1,000 m. Song cried out in shock. His arms reflexively tightened around me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Loosen up a bit. You're choking me. After regaining his composure, Song Jae's surprise turned into excitement. Jangfan, you can really fly. Where are we going? I casually replied, just looking for a place to sleep. Song Ya marveled. Whoa, it's an Ltiong and GT, so high. I reminded him. Stop talking. The wind will get into your throat soon. At the training ground, enforcers were reporting their views. Tang Xuan and Eunanu were testing them one by one. Lin Quan looked completely exhausted. Old Tang is a slave driver. This is too much. I've only been here 3 days, and I've had to work overtime every single day. Tang Suiwen glanced at his watch. It was past midnight. He didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. This is today's final task. After this test, you can go rest. Both of them looked at the plum blossom poles in front of them, but they were much higher than ordinary ones. The lowest was about a meter. The highest looked to be over 10 m. Something was hanging above some of the poles. Lin Yu looked up at the 10 m plus pole. Are there any safety harnesses for this? Tang Xuan said calmly. No, Eunianu Shu. You go first and retrieve the object hanging up there. Is there any danger? Eunianu shook her head. No. Lin Quan was utterly amazed. He thought he was in a martial arts world. Is this actually a cultivation world? Eunianu spoke immediately after. I have studied light techniques before. Tang Xuan signaled her to try. Don't push yourself too hard. Eunianu stood on her tiptoes and landed lightly on a 3 m pole. Without stopping, she used the momentum to leap even higher. 5 m then 7. Lin Quan stood below with his mouth wide open. Wow, that's amazing. Eunianu was now on a 15 m pole. This was the highest pole. The object above was still a distance away. Eunianu used her strength to jump high, catching the item hanging there. The floating object turned out to be a jade tablet. According to her calculations, she should have been able to land back on the pole and descend gradually from there. But the moment the jade touched her hand, her entire body suddenly seemed to freeze. She couldn't move even a fraction. Her body plummeted uncontrollably toward the ground. From this terrifying height, without spiritual energy to protect her, she would surely lose her life. Eunianu frantically tried to circulate her energy, but it was completely suppressed by the jade in her hand. There is something wrong with this jade tablet. Lin Quan screamed in horror. Save her. Tang Xuan had anticipated this. He had just taken one step forward when from behind them, a figure shot past with terrifying speed. Lin Quan only saw a blurred image flash by. In the blink of an eye, he was under the highest pole. The person leaped into the air, catching Xuan in midair and landed gently on the ground. After setting her down, I took the object from her hand, supporting Eunianu with one hand while tossing the jade tablet with the other, then catching it. Looking at Tang Xuan, I asked who came up with this terrible idea. I had just entered the training ground and saw Eunianu performing her light body technique. Based on her movements, it wasn't hard to see that her foundation was extremely solid. Her light body technique has reached a remarkable level, but the moment she touched the jade tablet, I felt a fluctuation of spiritual energy on it, seeing Eunianu fall straight down. This jade was hexed with a binding charm and a spirit draining charm. Anyone who touches it will be immobilized immediately. Even if you are a master, you would still fall. This was Tang Xuan's spiritual energy. Both of these charms were created by him. Only those with sufficiently deep spiritual energy and who can quickly break the binding charm can escape this fate. Tang Xuan immediately blamed Xu. He was probably called back before his leave was over. That's why he holds such a huge grudge. Eunianu had gradually recovered. She stood up straight. I let go of her. Thank you, Captain. Lin Quan and Tiong and GTS gaze at me was very complex. Initially, he thought I was only slightly better at Santa, but now it seems I am far beyond him. Lin Quan asked, how can you jump so high? Is it also because of the light body technique? Xianxia also watched me intently. Tang Xuan smiled. Xiao Zhong, help me hang those things back in place. Show them the true power of the Special Bureau's chief enforcer. I took the jade tablet and soared upward, hovering in midair without needing any support. Xun's eyes were full of respect and admiration. Lin Quan and Tiong and GTS eyes widened in shock. He can fly. He really has strayed into a cultivation world. This must be a cultivation sect. Tang Xuan said. The Hu family matter is being handled. The video has also been sent to Director Yu. I just gave a soft hum of acknowledgement. The school dorm gates are locked. I am bringing Song Jae here to stay for the night. Eunianu silently followed behind me. I asked, how did the testing results turn out? Eunianu's strength is quite good, but Lin Quan still doesn't know how to use spiritual energy. We need to start with the most basic step, guiding spiritual energy into the body. I glanced at Eunianu to make Tang Xuan say her strength is not bad. Means she can already be ranked among the enforcers of the Bureau. Seeing me look at her, Eunianu called out. Captain Lin Quan suddenly realized something. What? You called him captain? Eunianu nodded. He is my captain. Lin Yu hesitated. But you are older than him, aren't you? Xunengu didn't flinch. I am 20 years old this year, 3 years older than the captain. Tang Xuan and I both remained silent, waiting for Lin Quan to continue. Tang Xuan thought to himself, the person I set my sights on certainly won't be judged by age. Otherwise, how would he be any different from the others in the bureau? Lin Quan had an epiphany. So, it can be like that. The three of them didn't understand what he meant. He just clenched his fists slightly. He cleared his throat. Then, can Jangfan be my captain, too? All three of them looked at me. I was silent for a moment. I am sorry. Teaming up with me means losing your life. Lin Quan's family is happy and peaceful. Recruiting him isn't for the purpose of sending him to his death. Lin Quan still wanted to nominate himself again. Tang Wen pulled his arm back. How about you follow me instead? I don't have a teammate yet either. Lin Quan looked at Tang Xuan. You're a real explorer. Tang Wen, but fine. I'll reluctantly agree to your offer. He recognized my awkwardness. Teaming up is a matter of fate. Besides, Tang Xuan is the commander. Even if you're just an office worker, following him won't be a loss for you. Seeing this, I said you all continue talking. I am heading back to the dormitory first. Tang Ziwen nodded. They'll take you back to school tomorrow morning at the Chen family home. After Chen Jing returned, she immediately went to find her mother. Mom, I saw Jangfan at Central University. He really is studying there. Madam Chen was somewhat moved. That's wonderful. Your father will surely agree to let him come home, Chen Jing said, but it seems like he doesn't want to come back. Madam Chen didn't pay much heed. The Chen family is a prestigious household in Central Continent. He's probably just reacting to your father's attitude, and maybe he's a bit bothered by Chen Yu. That's why he's speaking out of spite. Once your father agrees, we will have a proper talk with him. Chen Yu simply cannot be cast aside. He has been loved and protected for 17 years. Even if he isn't our biological son, he is no different from blood. Furthermore, the Chen family and the Bi family have an engagement. Today, Madam Bei just came to discuss this matter with me, asking who the marriage partner will finally be. The Bi family is a powerful political military family. Old Master Bi is a high-ranking government official. The one who set the engagement with the Chens was the Bi patriarch. Their youngest daughter is also working within the government. In the coming days, she will also visit the Chen family. She wants to pay her respects to everyone. Will the Chens choose the fake young master raised in luxury or the real young master who grew up in the mountains? Old Master Chen decided directly. The one engaged is still Chen Yu and other families like the Liu, Shen, Xiao, and Hu families. All these elite families are just waiting to watch the drama unfold. The Chen family naturally cannot afford to lose face like that. The Chen family's business in East Continent is having problems. Mr. Chen has already rushed there. Chen Jing thought for a moment, planning to wait for him to return to speak with him directly. He is a biological son of the Chen family, and he isn't a good-for-nothing either. We can't just let him wander outside forever. During dinner, Madam Chen said, Grandfather wants us to return to the old mansion this weekend. The Bai family will be there. Chen Yu and Eltia Unk and GT's eyes filled with anticipation. Is it Sister Shushu? I am not sure, but I heard it's to discuss the engagement. The second young miss of the Bai family will likely be present. Shenjing felt a bit of panic. An engagement? She asked her father. Do you know about this? Yes, I know. Grandfather has already informed your father. Little Huang will also be returning. Chen Jing was slightly surprised. Eldest sister. Then what about Jangfan? Shouldn't we call him back too? Hearing that, Chen Yu immediately became tense. He didn't want to hand over this engagement to Jangfan. He had been following by Shushu since they were children. He truly likes Shushu very much. Madam Chen felt a bit disappointed. I already asked her grandfather, but grandfather has no intention of calling Jangfan back. Grandfather's exact words were, call him back just to embarrass the Chen family. Wait until he is as well-mannered as Xiao Yuyu. Then he may come see me. Don't tell him about this for now. Jangfan indeed is not suitable to appear at the banquet of the Bei and Chen families. Chen Yu breathed a silent sigh of relief. It seems this engagement still belongs to him. Chen Jing and Ltiunk and GT's face showed her dissatisfaction, but she was powerless to change it. The moment Bishu set foot in the imperial capital, I received a message from Tang Zuwen. Team 1007 Captain Bishu has returned to the imperial capital. I wondered what does that have to do with me? If she's back, she's back. Tang Xuan knew immediately that the documents about the Chen family he compiled. I hadn't even bothered to read carefully. I didn't care about this matter at all. The Chen family and the Bi family have an engagement. The original betrothed were Chen Yu and Bishu. The reason Bishu applied to return to the capital is to settle the engagement matter. So how does that involve me? Tang Xuan laughed helplessly, making Xu Ninshu and Lin Quan both turn to look at him. He didn't care. continuing to type with his head down. The engagement between the Chen and base was promised by the elders long ago. It was set before you were even born, so the one engaged should actually be you. I didn't care in the slightest. The Chen family and I have no connection. Whoever wants this wedding can have it. Besides, if I were the one to fulfill the engagement by Shushu, which you even dare, Tang Suan, forget it. I knew you wouldn't care. Just letting you know. I didn't bother replying again. My reason for coming to the capital this time certainly isn't to play this real and fake young master game for elite families. Real or fake young master, whatever. I came here for a mission. Once the mission is done, I am heading straight back to South Continent. Finding a teammate is a bit difficult, but finding a few more people for the bureau is still feasible. Thinking of this, I looked over at the sleeping Song. Tang Wen's message arrived just in time. What do you think of Song Jae? He remains calm in danger. He's worth considering. Let me ask him what he wants. Xianxia himself already possesses spiritual energy. Spiritual fluctuations mean he can cultivate. Those few shots at the Huo villa showed his decisiveness. He has spirit and talent. If he agrees, then he can be recruited. The Huo family had no warning whatsoever. Suddenly hit with an inspection to the point they couldn't even react. The head of the Huo family and Madame Huo were both arrested. All of the Huo family's projects were suspended. Assets were frozen. Products were pulled from the market. Old Master Huo called the chief of police. Couldn't get through, so he had to call the deputy chief. Old Master Huo, it's not that I don't want to help, but I truly cannot help you. Madame Huo offended someone she should never have offended. It'll leave it at that. Even the chief is under investigation. Old Master, don't drag me into this. Old Master Huo hung up the phone. He was so furious, he smashed his most precious teapot. Go investigate exactly what is going on. The assistant rushed to investigate. The servants trembled in fear, not daring to make a sound, trying to shrink themselves as much as possible. A few cursed in their hearts serves them right. Madame Huo usually looked down on these servants the most. She had made things difficult for them countless times, but because they were powerless, they could only grit their teeth and endure. The Huo family bodyguards were all hospitalized last night, but absolutely nothing could be learned from them. They all gave the exact same answer. I don't remember anything regarding what happened last night. The group of guards had simultaneous amnesia. The only person who likely knows the truth is Madame Huo, but she is currently in custody. No one can get to her. The Huo family is in deep trouble. The news spread rapidly. The elite families of the capital were all buzzing with speculation. Exactly which big shot did they provoke to be able to paralyze the Huo family in just one night to fall so pathetically and so fast? Xiao Jibo dragged Chen Yu and Man Hanyu along to visit Huo Yan. I wonder if Sister Yan knows about this yet. Let's hurry to the hospital and see her. Mang Han Yu suddenly remembered Huo Yan was in the hospital with amnesia. Xia Jibo had also mentioned Jangfan to Madame Huo. And now the Huo family is facing such a massive disaster. Could it be that the Huo family made a move against Jangfan? She knew exactly how much Madame Huo spoiled Huo Yan. Huo Yan was no saint either. She had caused so much trouble. If not for the Ho family's great influence and their ongoing joint project with the Mang family, she wouldn't have bothered associating with Huo Yan at all. This was the first time Hu Yelin had been carried into a hospital. Madame Huo certainly wouldn't just sit still. Mang Han Yu strode towards Central University. You two go on. I have business to attend to. I had just finished class and stepped out when I ran into Mang Han Yu. Classmates didn't know the relationship between the two. They cast a few curious glances and began to whisper and gossip. Isn't that the young lady of the Ming family? Which Ming family? Which other one? The elite family in the capital. The eldest miss is actually chasing after someone to me. Their voices weren't quiet at all, especially that last sentence. Mang Hanyu suddenly felt incredibly embarrassed. Go ahead and explain it to them. Clearly they are cousins. The Chen family doesn't acknowledge my status, so my name is not officially recognized. Furthermore, even if there were no blood relation, Mang Han, you wouldn't dare have any designs on me. But I didn't care in the least. It's fine. Mang Hanyu suddenly realized there was someone else beside him. She glanced at Sanji. Can we speak somewhere else? Sanji was speechless. You guys really have had enough. I had no intention of avoiding anything. No need. The Huo family brought this on themselves. What do you want? To plead for them. Mang Hanyu shook her head. No, I just wanted to confirm something and to bring some news. This weekend, the Chen family and the B family will meet at the old Chen estate to discuss the engagement. I said indifferently. Whatever. Let's go. Sanji vaguely remembered me talking to a man before. Something about the Chen family identity was mentioned then. At that time, He saw the relationship wasn't deep, so it wasn't appropriate to ask. Now, it was brought up again. He finally asked curiously, Chen family by family. What's all that? And what happened with the Huo family last night? Mang Hanu followed behind the two. Last night? What about last night? Song Jai filtered what he could say. Last night, the two of us were kidnapped by the Huo family. Mang Hanu was silent for a moment. Wow, they've got real nerve. Jangfan indeed has a lot of nerve. He was extremely calm in danger. Mang Hanu corrected. I meant the Huo family has some nerve. Retribution came surprisingly fast. So, what's this Chen family business? Mang Hanu glanced at me. It's NLT of Unk and GT. Simple. Jangfan and Chen Yu were switched at birth. The Chens took him in, but they refused to acknowledge Jangfan's song. He was stunned. A real and fake young master scenario. Then he looked at Mang Hanu. So you are? Mang Hanu replied by blood. I am his older cousin, but Jangfan doesn't acknowledge it. Sure enough, a second later I spoke up. I am not. Don't make me say it a third time. Ever since becoming a chief enforcer, I've always been a man of my word at the Bureau. It's been a long time since I've met people who can't understand human speech. After returning to the dorm with Song Jae, Sanji finally couldn't restrain his curiosity. Jangfan, I am so curious exactly what? That fortune-telling girl isn't normal either, right? If it's not convenient to say, that's okay. It's not like I can't tell you. Sign this first. Saying that, I pulled out a stack of prepared documents. Song J.P. at them. A non-disclosure agreement. Fine. It'll sign. I gave a timely reminder. Read it carefully before you sign. Song J flipped through it. Essentially, not disclosing anything about spiritual power or abilities, nor anything related to the Special Bureau to anyone, and definitely no spreading it on the internet, though he had no idea what this Special Bureau was. He signed it anyway. Seeing him finish signing, I gathered the documents back. I asked, the place we live is called the Five Continents. As for what's outside the Five Continents, do you know what's there? Sanji shook his head. Those are uninhabited wilderness areas. Many streamers go there to explore if they aren't arrested. Then they lose their signal, and then they vanish without a trace. I began to recount slowly. This world was originally divided into 3 races. The human race, the monster race, and the demon race. The 5 continents are the territory of the human race. To the south is the territory of the demon race. To the west is the monster race. Barriers separate all 3 races. They are strictly divided, staying out of each other's way. But a few decades ago, the world's spiritual energy began to recover. Cultivation for humans became easier. Both demons and monsters are eyeing to break the barriers to expand their territories and drain the spiritual energy of the 5 continents. The barriers between the 3 races are increasingly weakened. Demons frequently cross over the boundary. They drain spiritual energy and steal human lifespans, brutally slaughtering the human race. The government established the Special Bureau 10 years ago, recruiting talents from across the continents to be enforcers. 5 years ago, after the southern border incident, the Bureau established sub-branches. Enforcers guard the barriers day and night, exterminating monsters and saving lives. Both Eunianu and I are enforcers of the Bureau. I raise my hand, radiating a powerful flow of spiritual energy. This is spiritual energy. You also have spiritual fluctuations, though very weak. Sanji, on behalf of the Bureau, I invite you to join. You can accept or decline. I won't force you. Sanji didn't hesitate. I am in. He had witnessed a completely different world. So, how could he be content with being ordinary? The barriers between the 3 races are weakening daily. If the barriers are ever broken and monsters flood in, no one will be safe. He was willing to become the first line of defense for humanity. Wait until the weekend, then come with me to the Bureau for orientation. As soon as I finished speaking, I received a message from Tang Soon. The Huo family patriarch is sending people to investigate. I know. After a thought, I message back a single word. Annoying. They're just like flies, constantly buzzing around and won't let go. They can't do any harm, but they're disgusting. Don't worry. The whole family won't be jumping around much longer. We've uncovered quite a few of their dirty secrets lately. None of their hands are clean. Sanji has agreed to join the Special Bureau. Hell, complete the formalities this weekend. Tang Xuan replied. Understood. Chen Yu and Xiao Jibo went to the hospital to visit Yuoyan. She was preparing for her discharge. Seeing the 2 arrive, she hurriedly asked, do you know what exactly is happening to my family? Xiao Jibo comforted her. Sister Yan, don't worry. I've already sent someone to gather news. Yan could only rely on her grandfather now. How could I not worry? I need to go find my grandfather immediately. Little did she know, even old Master Huo was currently feeling helpless. Arriving at the Huo family's old estate, she saw old Master Huo making endless phone calls. Call after call was placed, but every result was a refusal to help. However, he did gain one piece of critical information. The source of everything began with Huo Yan. Huo Yan, one arm still in a cast, rushed forward. "Grandfather, how are my parents?" As soon as old Master Huo saw her, he flared up. He aimed to kick directly at her. "You troublesome brat. Who did you offend recently? Go apologize to them right now." Huo Yan was kicked to the ground. She truly had no idea who she had provoked. "I haven't fought with anyone," old Master Huo shouted. "Rack your brain and think." Hu Yan blurted out, "Jangfan. It must be Jangfan. Chibo and Xiao Yu already told me. I went to find him that day." Old Master Huo immediately ordered the butler to investigate my background. 2 hours later, looking at my completely ordinary res, old Master Huo fell into a state of doubt. Can this ordinary brat really bring down the Huo family? But thinking about how I entered Central University without taking the exam, old Master Huo made a decision. He would call the principal of Central University first. Principal John looked at the incoming call on his screen and immediately switched his phone to silent. At this point, regarding the Huo family, anyone who gets involved is just asking for bad luck. The phone went unanswered. Old Master Huo then called the Chen family patriarch. Biological son or not, he's nothing more than a crude country boy. Putting down the phone, old Master Huo instructed the butler, "Check Jangfan's records one more time. If we have the wrong person, then the Huo family apologizing to a brat would make us the laughing stock of the world." However, no matter how hard they investigated, they only saw what the Special Bureau wanted them to see. Before old Master Huo could even decide whether to apologize, people came to his house and took both him and Huo Yan away. The situation for the Huo family grew worse by the second. Whether related to them or not, everyone was rushing to distance themselves. On the other side of the engagement, Bai Shashu of the Bai family, after returning to Central Continent, immediately went back to her ancestral home. After having dinner together, old Master B, his parents and Bishu sat down together. Old Master Ba asked, "How is work going, my child?" Her parents also turned to look at her curiously, a bit of intrigue in their eyes. Old Master Ba was a high-ranking government official, so he knew very well about the Special Bureau's affairs, but her parents were completely in the dark. Old Master Bai never allowed them to ask about it. Her answer was very subtle. "Grandfather, please don't worry. Everything is going very smoothly. This time, it'll be staying in Central Continent for a while." Old Master Ba didn't ask further about that. Instead, he steered the conversation directly to the engagement regarding the engagement with the Chen family. "What do you think?" Bushu replied candidly. "Even though Xia Yu isn't the Chen's biological son, we already know each other so well. Besides, we've known each other since I was 20. Even though there's a 3-year age gap, we can be considered childhood sweethearts." She had never placed much value on titles or status. Marrying someone familiar and respectable is 10,000 times better than marrying a stranger. Who knows what that real young master has done in the past? The Bai family is being watched by countless competitors. That real young master, as far as the B family is concerned, is a dangerous ticking time bomb. Madame Bai sighed. True as that may be, but this marriage promise was made long ago regarding the biological son of the Chen family. Isn't this a bit unfair? Mr. B gently took her hand. That biological son is just a boy from the countryside. According to the Chens, he always skips classes, dropping out to get into fights everywhere. He even skipped the university entrance exams. A flicker of contempt flashed in by Shushu and Ultiank and GT's eyes. A total deserter to a student. The examination hall is the battlefield, and he is nothing but a cowardly deserter. On the battlefield, my team 1007 has never known retreat, even when facing a 10,000-year-old demon. Even after 2 comrades sacrificed themselves bravely, we never once thought of running away. She was the type who despised deserters the most, and she would absolutely never marry such a lowly coward. Whenever she thought of that ancient demon, Bishu couldn't help but remember the man who fell from the sky, the one who saved her entire team from the abyss of death. He was someone she could never reach, no matter how much she yearned for him. Old Master B's expression also darkened. "Then there's no need to change this engagement. Keep it with Chen Yu. Our Bei family has never judged anyone by their origin. So what if he's the fake young master? As long as he does nothing against morality, being. The matter of bloodline is merely a secondary factor." Soon the time arrived, the scheduled time for the 2 families meeting. The moment they stepped into the old Chen estate, they saw the Chen family had already gathered in full to receive them. Almost everyone was present, including the old patriarch of the Chen family. Father Chen, Mother Chen, Chen Wang, Chen Jing. Even Chen Yu has arrived and everyone is present. Chen Yu saw Ba Chu Chu bowing her head and smiled with a hint of shyness. Chu Chu Nuna, it's been such a long time. They used to play together all the time when they were little. But 4 years ago, Ba Chu suddenly left school, saying she was going to work. So she rarely returned to Zhangzhou. Seeing the wonderful relationship between the two children, both families shared a knowing, satisfied smile. Only Chen Jing and Ltiang and GTS face betrayed her lack of happiness. The two families are so harmonious right now. It is clear both sides intend to push forward with this alliance. Then what does Jangfan even count as to them? Chen Wang glanced at her second younger sister and whispered in her ear, "Maintain your composure. At times like this, even if you are miserable, you must pretend to be joyful." They exchanged pleasantries for a while first, then enjoyed lunch together. No one breathed a word about the engagement at the dining table. After the meal, the two families sat down to begin their discussion. Old Master Ba spoke first. "Xiao Yu is the child we watched grow up, but as for that other boy," Father Chen quickly expressed his stance. "Please rest assured, no matter what happens, Xiao Yu will always be the son of the Chen family. A mere vagrant can absolutely never replace our Xiao." In his heart, Chen Yu was drowning in joy. Chen Jing couldn't help but interrupt. "He is not a vagrant. He is currently a student at Jingzhou University." Old Master Chen glanced sideways at her regardless of the circumstances. Xiao Yu is still a member of the Chen family. Besides, he grew up right alongside Chu Chu Nuna. In my view, this marriage should proceed without further complications. Bok Chu frowned slightly. Did he not take the college entrance exam? Then how exactly did he get into Jingzhou University? Everyone present shared the same lingering doubt, but no one dared to ruin the current atmosphere. Later, Baku Chu would be consumed by bitter, belated regret, hating herself for why she didn't ask one more question. Then Old Master Bai nodded. Since the two of them are so close, marriage is only the natural progression. Why not take advantage of today and select an auspicious date for their union right now? Old Master Chen smiled and said, "Very well, then let's send Ltiang and GT, set it in stone today." Bai Chuchu did not raise any further objections. Setting it early is for the best. To crush that young master and Ltiang and GT's ambitions, Mother B suggested, "Then when the engagement takes place, let's send Ltiang and GT, have him come along as well. We cannot let outsiders look on and mock our families." The news of the Chen family finding their biological son has already spread throughout the elite circles of the imperial capital. If he is absent from the Chen Bai engagement ceremony, people will surely gossip that there is strife between our houses. If he can make an appearance and even offer his heartfelt blessings, then that would be absolutely perfect. The Chen family found it difficult to refuse. Old Master Chen promised, "Certainly, we will have him attend and bless Chu Nuna and Xia Yu." After the members of the Bei family had departed, Chen Jing watched Father Chen. He is studying at Jiangzhou University. "Are you still not satisfied, Father?" Father Chen let out a cold, sharp snort. Someone who didn't even bother with the entrance exam. What? Xiao saw it with his own eyes. "Xiao Yu, tell them the truth." Chen Yu hesitated for a moment. Perhaps he found some other way to get in. His words were calculated and deeply ambiguous. Chen Jing shot him a look of sheer disbelief. A meaningful glint flickered in Chen Huang and Ltiang and GT's eyes. "How interesting," Mother Chen said. "Regardless, he still carries the blood of the Chen family. I must acknowledge him as my son." Old Master Chen nodded slowly. "Then see to it that he is properly educated. Bring him along to the engagement party. It is also for show to satisfy the outsiders to prevent them from gossiping any further." Chen Jing sneered. "Try actually reaching him first, then talk." With that, she turned and stormed off in frustration. Chen Huang said politely, "Grandfather, father, mother, I will go check on second sister." After saying so, she followed Chen Jing. Chen Yu leaned obediently against Mother Chen. "It would be good for me to attend, so everyone knows he is the one the Chen family recognizes." Chen Huang caught up with Chen Jing. "I haven't seen you for a few months and your temper has become this explosive." Chen Jing fumed. Jangfan is one of the main parties involved, yet without even a word of notice to him. The two families have arbitrarily decided on the marriage. What would telling him even accomplish? Are they afraid he might try to steal the engagement? Chen Huang patted her on the shoulder. "Notifying him wouldn't change anything. We don't even have a way to contact him. So how exactly do you plan to tell him?" Chen Jing was so enraged she punched the car with a clenched fist. Chen Huang was left speechless. "Hey, that's my car." Chen Jing calmly withdrew her hand. "I'm going to find him." Chen Huang reminded her. "It is currently the weekend. There are no classes at the university. He might not even be on campus. So where are you even going to look? Shen Jing opened the door and climbed in. I'll just go and try searching first. Early Sunday morning, I took Sanji out for breakfast, then planned to head to the training grounds. Exu Shu mentioned she was already at training ground. No, 17. The very place where Tang Shu Wen had taken them once before to test their light body technique. Song Jai wanted to tag along. As we were heading out, they encountered two individuals they had never seen before, though they were strangers. One of them greeted me. Chief Jiang. I simply nodded and said nothing else. Song Jai was stunned. Chief Jiang. But I felt it wasn't the right time to pry, so I had to suppress my curiosity. As the two groups brushed past each other, Zhang Shuyua asked, why on earth did he come to Jinghe? Huang Ziyang said, you mean Chief Jiang? He's just here to carry out a mission. Kang Shuyua was a headquarters administrative staffer. Han Zuyang was an enforcer stationed in Zhangzhou. The two of them were also a couple, frequently seen together, so their duty rosters were always aligned. Sign-viewer rolled her eyes and said in a drippingly sarcastic tone, it really makes one so incredibly envious. No need to punch in on time every day like we have to, and yet he can roam the 5 continents as he pleases. It's nothing more than a vacation on the public's dime. Zhang Chuyu and LT Unk and GTS voice was by no means quiet, causing several passers-by to turn and stare at her. Wang Zuyang quickly glanced back over his shoulder, seeing that only those nearby had turned to look. He finally felt a wave of relief. He hissed irritably in a low voice, what is this nonsense? Someone is going to hear you. Jingo Yui curled her lip in disdain. So what if they do? I just think it's utterly unfair. Do you even know how much he was paid for that Exao mission? 2 billion. Huang Xu Yang was shell-shocked. Don't speak of that here. Mission compensation is strictly confidential information. Zhang Huyua had somehow managed to get wind of this and had been stewing in resentment ever since. She was only an administrative staffer. Compared to the outside, her salary was already quite generous. At first, she had been perfectly satisfied, but once she learned the compensation of the enforcers, a seed of intense jealousy began to sprout in her heart. We're all bureau employees. Why is their pay so exorbitantly high? And they don't even have to be chained to a desk. After finding out about my mission reward this time, she felt even more indignant. She wouldn't earn that. Besides, she was a graduate of a prestigious university, except for not going out on dangerous missions. She had to sit in this building from 9:00 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. every single day, occasionally being forced to work night shifts. It was grueling work in its own right. She'd even worked in the development planning department, a very significant administrative role. Wang Zuyang and LT Lunk and GTS expression was equally grim. He knew full well how perilous Xin and Nanzhou were, but here in their own Jingzhou, enforcers had assisted the police in catching criminals many times. Yet their compensation each time was so meager compared to the rates in Zaijin and Nanzhou. It was like tossing scraps to a beggar. Passers-by were secretly observing their exchange. A cold sneer erupted from behind them, sounding incredibly grating to the ears. They risked their very lives to save others, yet you're actually green with envy over that reward. Enforcers face death daily at the borders. Do you really think you'd be sitting here in peace otherwise? San Hua spun around to look. The speaker was Lu Mang from the personnel department. She instinctively raised her voice in a sharp retort. You're also an administrative staffer, so why are you being such a traitor to your own? She hadn't exactly called them outsiders. Lu Mang spat on the ground in contempt. Sha, if you're so brave, why don't you go be an enforcer in Nanzhou? If you don't have the skills, then stop talking nonsense. Everyone is well aware that the casualty rate for enforcers in Nanzhou is the highest. After finishing her scolding of Jin Chuyua, Lu Mang didn't forget to cast a sharp side eye at Wang Zuyang, and her voice rang out with absolute clarity. If you're so jealous of others, then just go to Nanha or Saijin and take on missions yourselves. If you're weak, then spend your time training harder. Enough with the hypocrisy. Zhang Chu, Yua, and Wang Zuyang and LT Unk and GTS faces turned even paler, enduring the scrutinizing glares of everyone around them. Before they could even take a single bite of their food, they hurriedly fled the scene. Sanjay followed close behind me. Having overheard Zhang Quyu's words, he turned back to take one last look. This bureau is not at all what I imagined it would be. I asked, so how exactly did you imagine it? Unified, full of passion, standing together as one against the enemy. Now it seems there's no shortage of infighting and petty rivalry. I used to think that way once as well, but now it no longer concerns me. Wherever humans are, there will be comparison and conflict. Currently, the Bureau is recruiting on a massive scale, so it's only natural for friction to arise. There's no need to pay any mind to these matters if things get out of hand. Someone will eventually deal with it. There are still plenty of other enforcers who are still fueled by that very same fire and passion. By the way, what does Chief Zhang actually mean? It refers to the top enforcer of the entire bureau. Without me having to explain any further, Sanji realized the truth on his own. You're the absolute strongest among all the bureau's enforcers. The legendary master turns out to be my own roommate. I never dreamed my roommate was such a heavyweight figure. When the two of them arrived at the training ground, Eunianu was just descending from the tallest pillar. Eunianu walked swiftly over to me and glanced towards Song Jae. I introduced him. This is Sanj. Hello, I am Sanji. Greetings, new colleague. I am Eunianu. We and LTUNC and GTLL have plenty of time to get to know each other later. Sanji, just observe for a moment. In a bit, he'll show you how to channel spiritual energy into your body. Song Jae nodded eagerly, then scrambled to the side to watch. I asked Eunianu if she knew how to perform sword control. Eunianu gave a small nod a little. Though I've only ever practiced with a peachwood sword, I went to the weapon rack and pulled out a sword for her to try. Try this one. Eunianu began to pour spiritual energy into the blade. This process wasn't much different from using a peachwood sword. The sword began to float serenely in midair. Song Ji's eyes slowly widened in pure amazement. Is she a cultivator? I said. Try using the sword for flight. She attempted to stand atop the blade, commanding the sword to ascend. The sword wobbled and swayed slightly at first, but eventually it managed to rise steadily into the air. Eunianu tried to maneuver the sword forward, but the pull of inertia made it difficult to keep her footing. She began to fall, but rapidly regained her balance in midair and landed firmly back on the ground without needing any prompting from me. She practiced several more times until she could finally take flight with stability and could even navigate forward through the air, though her speed was still quite modest. I stopped her as she was about to try again. 1 begets 2, 2 begets 3, 3 begets all things. If you can control a sword, then you can control all of creation, and humans are merely one part of that creation. Now envision yourself as the sword itself. Eunianu had never considered things from that perspective. Hearing this, she immediately fell into deep contemplation. I stepped forward and placed a hand on her shoulder under my guidance. Eunianu's body began to slowly drift into the air. Can you feel it now? Regard your very body as the blade controlling a sword or controlling a person. At their core, they are no different at all. Eunianu and LTUNC and GT's eyes widened in realization as she nodded. She hurriedly memorized the path of the spiritual energy and began her own trial. I turned my attention back to Song Jae walking up behind him and placing a hand on his back. Just relax and try to burn the path of the energy into your memory. Song Jae closed his eyes tightly, feeling a refreshing cool aura snaking its way through his entire body. Everywhere that current traveled, he felt as if those areas were being completely liberated, as if his very joints were being cleared of all blockages. Eunianu drifted silently over to stand before me. She pointed toward herself, looking at me while wearing a brilliantly radiant smile. She had finally succeeded. She too had learned the art of flight. I looked at her. Excellent. It seems we have another genius on our hands. Eunianu touched back down on the ground, noticing that Song Jae had also successfully channeled energy. The captain truly is the captain. No one he handpicks is ever ordinary. Song Jae followed the energy flow path I had just shown him, absorbing the spiritual energy deep into his own body. He opened his eyes and reached out his hand to test it. A shimmering white light began to emanate from him. Is this truly spiritual energy? Yes, you have quite a natural gift. Song Jae sat down flat on the ground and looked up at me expectantly. So, does that mean you are my master now? I refused. I do not take on disciples. I consider Song-gi someone I personally brought into the bureau. I only feel a sense of duty to look out for and support him. Song Jae saw the absolute resolve in my voice, so he stopped pressing the matter. He turned instead toward Eunianu. What was it you called him just now? Captain? He is my captain. Song Jae stood up straight. Then I also want to be your teammate. Once again, the answer was a refusal. That is not possible. But why not? Bitch, she's allowed. But Eunianu remained silent. Who would have thought that one day being an orphan would actually turn out to be an advantage like this? I diverted his attention away. I'll introduce you to the Bureau's Commander-in-Chief. He's currently putting a new team together. Since Tango Wen was so intent on forming a squad, I might as well send a few more people his way. Sanji proved to be even more stubborn than Lin Quan. I don't want that. I am enough on my own. Perhaps one day you will change your mind, and then it'll still have a chance to join you. If I join some other team now, then all my hope will be gone. A heart as hard as iron. Fine. Be on your own then. I can still help you with your cultivation. Igsui and Shu also chimed in. I can assist you as well. If you ever have any trouble, just come find me anytime. Song Jae expressed his gratitude to both of us. I began teaching him the finer points of energy control. Igsui and Shu took off into the air once more, leaving Song Jae to stare after her in absolute awe. Once he truly masters the control of his spiritual energy, he will undoubtedly want to learn to fly, too. After finishing her breakfast, Luing immediately made her way to Deputy Director Liang and LTL Unk and GTS office and reported every detail of the incident in the cafeteria. Even the sarcastic barb she had thrown at Zhang Koa, she recounted without leaving out a single word. Her goal was to ensure absolute authenticity. Deputy Director Lai's face was flushed with livid anger. She immediately snatched up the internal telephone. Order Zhang Hua and Wang Xian to my office. This instant having achieved her objective, Lu Ming stood up and asked to be dismissed. If people like Jingo Yua are left to scream such nonsense, then the bureau will surely be ruined in no time. She couldn't do anything to Jin Yua personally, but the leadership certainly had the means. Lu Mang walked away after having tattled with absolute confidence. On her way out, she ran right into Zhang Hua and Hang Xu Yang as they were rushing toward Deputy Director Li's office. Lu Mang flashed them both a deeply provocative smile. That's right, I am the one who told on you. So what are you going to do about it? Kang Cho Yua shot her a lethal glare. Deputy Director Li's method of handling things was straightforward. She played a video clip from the mission at Yunwu Mountain and made Cho Yui watch it right then and there. The camera lens shook violently throughout the footage. The screen was dominated by a horrifying shade of crimson blood. Two figures were locked in a savage, high-speed battle. Their strikes were so swift they were almost impossible to follow. The surrounding trees were being mowed down in massive numbers, a terrifying aura of overwhelming pressure that could be felt even through a screen. It was only 10 seconds of footage. Zhang Shuye and Hang Xiang were drained of all color. Deputy Director Lai said, since you are so filled with envy and feel that things are so unjust, then I can easily transfer you to the southern or western frontiers. Zhang Cho Yui instinctively cried out, no, I won't go there. Going there is a certain death sentence. Huang Yu Yang remained deathly silent as a fellow enforcer himself, who had even been in the service much longer than me. He knew that in a battle of this caliber he wouldn't last even a single strike. Is this the true terrifying strength of Chief Zhang? Deputy Director Li sneered. If you're not going, then keep your heads down. A formal criticism will be issued bureau, and 3 months of your salary will be docked. If you ever dare to slander a colleague again, then you can just pack your things and disappear from my sight forever. Furthermore, Zhang Hua, mission compensation details are confidential. Exactly. How did you come by this information? Kang Yu began to stammer incoherently. I happened to overhear it by accident. The two of them slunk away. Li Qing side-egged, humanity is facing an impending catastrophe, and yet they are still preoccupied with petty factionalism. Every step I've taken to get to where I am today, I've had to endure countless wounds and have saved so many lives, but they don't give a damn about any of that. Their eyes are only fixed on the rewards I receive. Ling picked up the phone to call the head of investigation. Investigate Zhang Qiao immediately. Find out exactly how she leaked Chief Zhang's mission compensation. The head of investigation's expression immediately darkened. It seems someone actually dared to target Chief Zhang himself. Jinzhou University. Their family driver dropped Chen Yu off at the school.
Chen Jing and Chen Huang were also in the car. They had come looking for me on Saturday, asking everyone they met along the way. They had even gone to my classroom and my dorm room, but I was nowhere to be found, and even my roommates were all away. After learning I had class on Monday, they decided to show up once again today. Chen Jing had firmly made up her mind. She was going to tell me about the engagement no matter what. Having heard Chen Jing and LT Unk and GTS version of events, Shen Huang was also piqued by an intense curiosity about her brother. Outside vehicles aren't allowed on campus without prior registration. So, as the Chen family parked their car at the school gates, they caught sight of me stepping out of an incredibly luxurious car. Shen Jing knit her brows in confusion. Just what? How could he possibly for the sake of money? The words that followed seemed almost too difficult for him to say. He was convinced that I had sold myself to some wealthy benefactor. I didn't even bother to glance back at them.
I gave a microscopic flick of my fingertips. Chen Yu instantly tumbled face first onto the level ground. Chen Jing didn't have a spare second to worry about me as she rushed over to help Chen Yu up. Xiao Yu, are you all right? Chen Yu struggled to pick himself up. One of his front teeth had been knocked clean out. Bright red blood was gushing from his mouth. In this state, he no longer had the strength to spread lies. Eunianu and Shu stepped out of the vehicle and remarked coldly, "Malicious words always bring retribution." Chen Jing was filled with shock and suspicion. Grandmaster Xu Xianshu didn't give her a second thought. She simply walked over to my side to speak with me. Chen Jing called out loudly, "Zhao Fan, why on earth are you with Grandmaster Zhu?" Chen Yu frantically tugged at her sleeve. "Nuna, it hurts so much." Chen Jing glanced at Chen Huang, who stood by with arms crossed. She clearly had no intention of getting involved, but Chen Jing had come today specifically to discuss the engagement, since she had no way of contacting me directly. She had no idea when she would see me again. Chen Jing hesitated for a brief moment. I had already walked quite a distance onto the campus, treating them as if they didn't even exist. Seeing my complete indifference, Chen Yu tugged at Chen Jing and Lt Yunk and GTS sleeve once more, covering his mouth. He looked utterly pathetic. "Nuna." The moment he spoke, even more blood began to flow. Chen Jing was forced to take Chen Yu to the hospital first. Chen Huang caught up to me in a few swift strides. She spoke with absolute directness. "The Bai and Chen families are forming a marriage alliance. The engagement party is set for next Saturday, but the truth is this betrothal was made before birth, and you were always the intended fiancé." I only gave a non-committal grunt, showing absolutely zero interest. I kept on walking. Song Jae pointed out the critical point. "Then why didn't you say so earlier? What are you afraid will come to reclaim the engagement?" Chen Huan nodded. "That is exactly what they are thinking. Now they want to invite you to the engagement party. This is a rare opportunity. I have no intention of getting entangled with them. I am not free and I am not going." Sanji sneered without a hint of emotion. "A rare opportunity. It's just an engagement party, not some grand ascension ceremony. What? Now that would be a truly rare opportunity." Chen Huang wasn't angry at all. She just found this younger brother of hers to be incredibly interesting, and even his friends are quite fascinating. Chen Huang suddenly changed the subject. She asked for my bank account number. I continued to refuse. "There is no need for you to trouble yourself, sister." Chen Huang thought about the car I was just sitting in. She nodded. "Sorry for the intrusion." Then, having said that, she left immediately. I felt that Chen Huang seemed to be the rare normal person in the Chen family. Song Jae asked, "The Chen family brought you to Jono and didn't give you any money. They are truly trash. As the chief enforcer, I certainly don't lack any money. But the Chen family is truly disgusting. If I were just an ordinary person, wouldn't I be forced to sleep on the streets?" I, however, didn't care about that at all. "Let's go get the books. It's time for class." Chen Huang of the Chen family returned to the old villa. She briefly mentioned our meeting. "The boy doesn't want to return. We might as well just let nature take its course and stop bothering each other whether in work or in life." Chen Huang always prioritized the concept of destiny. Mother Chen immediately protested. "No, he is my son. I carried him for 10 months and endured labor to give birth to him. How can we possibly not involve ourselves in each other's lives? I must bring this son back into our family." Elder Chen also expressed his disapproval. "Everyone knows about the situation now. Letting him wander outside like that, wouldn't that invite others to mock our Chen family? Xiao Huang, go and bring him back here." He then turned to look at Mother Chen. "Quickly find a teacher to instruct him properly in etiquette. When the engagement party arrives, bring him to see me. He has been questioned by those old men many times lately. Those relatives from the countryside are all gloating over our misfortune. The Chen family cannot allow others to look down on us. He must appear at the engagement party. It's also to show everyone that the Chen family has not mistreated their own biological son." Mother Chen saw that the old man had changed his mind. She quickly said, "Father, please rest assured. I will definitely make sure he is taught well." Chen Huang, seeing how they settled everything with just a few sentences, the way they were arranging his life made her find it ridiculous. "I can go look for him one more time, but whether he chooses to come or not is beyond my control. Once or twice, but there will be no third time." Although Father Chen was still frustrated, he also understood that they couldn't let outsiders mock them. "Find a few more teachers. There must be absolutely no mistakes in his etiquette, and he certainly isn't allowed to embarrass us at Xia Yu and Lt Yunk and GTS engagement party once he returns. I will warn him myself. The marriage alliance with the Bai family is not something he can even dream of." Chen Jing took Chen Yu to the hospital. His front teeth were broken. The only option left was to get dental implants. After getting the implants, Chen Yu returned to the Chen residence. His entire face was swollen up. When the Chen family saw Chen Yu and Lt Unk and GTS condition, they rushed forward to ask what happened. "If this continues, he will be the one losing face at the engagement party. Chen Yu thought about Xunanka's words. I don't even know what happened myself. Grandmaster Xu was walking with Jangfan and she even mentioned something about retribution. Her words were so cryptic and elusive. She's deliberately trying to pin all the blame on me. Father Chen spoke in a cold, stern voice. That rebellious son. But Chen Huang and Chen Jing were different. She was 10 years older than Chen Yu, so their relationship wasn't very close. Then thinking about the fact that he wasn't her biological brother, she said bluntly, Grandmaster Xu said that creating bad karma through speech leads to retribution. Chen Huang gave a half smile. Sao Yu, what do you think? Chen Yu was somewhat afraid of his eldest sister. Then he thought of Eunianka's abilities. Rumors in the circle said she even knew how to catch ghosts, for fear of suffering karmic retribution. He immediately stopped daring to speak nonsense. I just tripped and fell by myself. Chen Yu added another sentence. When he fell, Jangfan and Grandmaster Zhu were standing 10 m away. Elder Chan was an old fox. He immediately saw through Chen Yu and LT Unk and GT's pay little scheme. Since it was a trivial matter, he didn't bother to investigate further. The engagement party is the most important matter right now. Fine, hurry up and get healed. Don't let this delay the engagement party. The more Chen Huang looked at Chen Yu, the more she disliked him. Suddenly, she felt a pang of pity for her biological younger brother. Mang Hanyu was once again waiting at the door of my classroom. I didn't even bother to spare her a glance. After class, I headed toward the shooting range with Song Jae. I had already refused to participate in the shooting competition, but Sanji had agreed to participate. He wanted me to go with him for practice. Mang Hanyu trailed closely behind the two of them. She kept rambling incessantly. Young Fan, why do I feel like you hate me so much? Your feelings are exactly right. She tried to salvage the situation a bit more. I admit it. It was wrong to follow Huo Yilin into Zhaijing back then. I have already reflected on my actions. You can't just generalize everyone like that. It's good that you still have a chance to repent. The two who sacrificed themselves at Cloud Mist Mountain no longer have that chance. Meng Hanyu immediately froze in place. Dead. They're dead. I gave her a quick glance. They died trying to save you two from my perspective. Besides the fault of those 5 people, there's also the fault of Team 1007 leader Bushu. According to regulations, Team 1007 should not have gone in there. Unfortunately, they were far too arrogant and overbearing, not knowing their own limits, only to end up trading 2 lives for nothing. Song Jae noticed Mang Hanyu was no longer following them. He asked me, was it really that dangerous at Cloud Mist Mountain? I gave a soft hum of affirmation. I could help you apply to stay in Zhengzhou. Song Ji shook his head. If so, I might as well just be a police officer. What's the point of being an enforcer then? Once I've committed to doing it, I must make sure it truly has meaning. Confronting the monster and demon races was what he truly wanted to do. The two arrived at the shooting range. Teacher Chen, who teaches shooting, was already waiting there. If you win top 3 inches, the Zhengzhou shooting competition, you can represent Jinghe and the 5 provinces shooting competition. Song Jai looked at the pile of items on the table, then pointed toward Teacher Chen. All of these belong to Chen Yuan. Ah, no. I brought everything here for you to look over. Both of these kids are promising talents. Chen Yuan was willing to mentor the two of them, so he brought everything he could carry here. For the things that couldn't be moved, he's still seeking permission. Can I give it a try? Last time I went home, I found some books to read. The things I didn't know before, I can identify them all now. Wanting to test his skills, Chen Yuan waved his hand. Go ahead, try it. It's best to keep trying. Try until you fully understand it. The competition is coming up soon. I picked up the components on the table near me and began to slowly assemble them. By now, Chen Yuan had also finished his lecture, telling Sanji to assemble the components on the table first and then practice shooting. Sanji always acted quickly and decisively, finishing one every half minute. He had assembled everything on the table. Chen Yuan nodded with satisfaction, turning to see me still, assembling slowly. Every movement was perfectly standard and precise. Chen Yuan glanced at the camera in the room. Jangfan, would you mind if the school uses the video of you assembling as teaching material? Well, only crop it to show your hands. Without showing my face, my hands didn't stop as I replied decisively, sure. Song Jae began his shooting practice, using a pistol to hit targets at a 50 m range. The sound of scoring 10 points rang out repeatedly. Sanji could feel it. He could see the target much more clearly than before. Is it because of the effect of spiritual energy? Then wouldn't it be unfair for him to compete? Chen Yuan pressed the button next to him. He changed the target to a 100 m distance for him. Song Jai felt it was still very clear. At the exact moment the bullet was fired, he could even see through the bullet's trajectory. Is this the power of a cultivator? I finished assembling everything. I picked up the pistol, aiming straight at the target 100 meters ahead. Bang, 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 firing 8 shots in rapid succession. The mechanical announcement finally rang out. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. 8 consecutive 10-point shots. Such a promising talent. Jangfan, do you really not want to join the competition? Please give it a little more thought. I spun the gun around my fingertip. Not interested. Sanji fired another 10-point shot. Watching the bullet's trajectory, a strange idea suddenly occurred to him. What if he coated the bullet with spiritual energy? Thinking was doing, and Sanya set to work immediately. Turning his back to the surveillance camera, he secretly channeled spiritual energy into his palm, and used the spiritual energy to coat the bullet. I suddenly stared intently at Sanji, rushing toward him with lightning speed, delivering a mid-air kick to knock the gun out of his hand. The gun was kicked away and exploded before it could even hit the ground. Chen Yuan still hadn't grasped what had just happened, staring at the shattered, exploded gun. His heart pounded incessantly, his heart rate spiked, feeling as though he had just escaped from the brink of death. Just moments ago, he was standing right next to Sanji. Sanji knew he had caused a major disaster. Spiritual energy mixed with gunpowder, as it turns out, can cause an explosion, and its destructive power was much stronger than a typical barrel explosion. If I hadn't pulled them away in time, Sanji would certainly have lost a hand by now. Sanji was in a panic, hurriedly apologizing. I am sorry. I am truly sorry. Chen Yuan also rushed around to see if either of them was injured. Are you hurt anywhere? No. Chen Yuan saw that they were okay. Only then could he breathe a sigh of relief. Jangfan, your physical skills are quite impressive. You two stay right here. Let me go check it out. He walked toward the gun, muttering to himself. Strange. How could it just explode out of nowhere? Sanji felt guilty. I am sorry. I really didn't know it would be like that. I'll go ask Teacher Chen to see how I should compensate for this. The salary he just received was about to turn into compensation money. As soon as Teacher Chen heard Songji wanted to compensate, he immediately waved his hand. No need to pay back. No need at all. Did it frighten you? The competition, you still have to participate. The gun won't explode again. Songji hesitated slightly. He felt that if he competed now, it would be truly unfair to the other competitors. Seeming to understand that concern, I use secret voice transmission to say, you can temporarily seal your spiritual consciousness, then you'll be no different from an ordinary person. Upon hearing this, Sanji hurriedly replied, I'll join. He truly loved the sport of shooting and sincerely wanted to participate in this competition, to broaden his horizons with the outside world, to know there's always a higher mountain. Due to the gun explosion, today's practice session ended earlier than expected. Songji asked me, how did you know it would explode? I answered calmly, I've done it before, so I just have a bit of experience. At the Bureau's training ground, Tang Zuwen reduced the talisman's power on the jade pendant by half. Lin Quan watched Eunianu gently float up into the air. After grabbing the jade pendant, she slowly descended, making him extremely envious. 2 days? It's only been 2 days. How do you already know how to fly? Xuan Shu smiled slightly, then subtly boasted. The captain taught me. Lin Quan slapped Tang Xuan's shoulder hard. Captain! Oh, Captain! I want to learn too. I want to be able to fly too. Tang Xuan cried out in pain. Take your hand off me already. I see you really do want to ascend to the heavens. You can't even control your spiritual energy naturally yet, and yet you want to fly. Lin Quan wailed miserably. I am going to practice right now. Tang Yuan could only sigh in exasperation. Truly, everyone has a talent for acting. How calm Lin Quan appeared on the outside before is how much of a comedian he seems now, suddenly missing the Lin Quan from the previous competition videos. Your talent is indeed quite remarkable. Tang Xuan took the video of Euyina's recent test and sent it to the heads of the sub-bureaus in various provinces. You're the third person. Eunianu automatically ignored the first statement. What do you mean by the third person? Tang Xuan said the third person, the director she successfully taught. After thinking for a moment, he added one more sentence. Successfully taught at the Special Abnormalities Bureau. Eunianu didn't ask further. The captain truly has worked hard on the captain for having to teach a bunch of idiots who can't learn. Tang Xuan felt that Eunianu also knew how to play a part. At the same time, the 5 directors in charge received Tang Xuan and LT Unk and GTS video along with a dozen department heads. All of them were utterly astonished. Yuaning held the video and watched it with lying. This girl Eunianu is truly remarkable. Lying recalled for a bit. She hasn't been working here for long, has she? Yuaning said, Truly, there is always someone better. It seems that recruiting more new people is definitely a must. I have taught many people, but in the end, only Tang Suan and Lin Yao successfully graduated. Now, a newcomer has arrived who learns everything instantly. The bureau really should be infused with some fresh vitality. The bureau's sub-office in Nanjing. Lino looked at Eunianu in the video. Just who on earth is this Eunianu? The test video sent by Commander Tang. Xianxia's performance surprises everyone every single time. 2 days ago, she only knew the body lightning technique, and now she has already mastered it. Your aerial flight skills are not to be underestimated. Ixu Shiny, head of department. No one was holding a tablet. He knocked on Lin Yao and LT Unk and GTS office door. Commander Lin, regarding this girl, Ixu Nihu. Lin Yao replied, wait a moment, I am retrieving her information. Ixu Xingyue asked, is something wrong? Lin Yao turned the computer screen around. Take a look. Ixu stepped closer to look. All other information is normal, but in the team name column it says Team 0. Since when did the Bureau have a Team 0 captain? And even letting the chief enforcer serve as the captain? Lino chuckled softly. Headquarters has its own plans, speaking while taking out her phone to make a call. Others were just as curious as they were. Who is Eunianu? Really? What? The entry for Team 0 with Jangfan as captain was clearly visible, further paying the curiosity within the hearts of everyone. I had just finished watching that video when I received countless calls from all over. Xiaopan, who's Eunianu? That was a call from Lino. I answered indifferently. She's just my teammate. On the other end, Lino laughed softly. That's great. Daon is finally starting to accept teammates. I hummed a brief response. Liao replied, all right, see you tonight. See you tonight. I hung up. I casually answered. The next call, Xian, what's going on? The caller was Qin Xiu, head of the East Province Sub-Bureau. I rarely gave brief explanations, saying it was a request from above. They wanted to form a team and Xuni and Shu intended to join, so I just accepted it. Sanji said, I want to join, too. She could roughly guess Director Yu and LT Unk and GTS intentions. It's good, actually. You should also experience a slightly different life. Don't and LT Unk and GTT push yourself too hard. We aren't useless after all. I was made to chuckle by him. Shinchi said, I know. I am actually quite curious about this girl. Eunianu, you and LT Unk and GTLL meet her when there's an opportunity. Jinziu saw I didn't want to say more, so he didn't press further. All right, see you tonight. See you tonight. After hanging up on Qin Shui, Song Jai was about to speak when another phone call came in. Zhao Fan, why are you Eunianka's captain? That was Xianxia Zhao and West Jin. At the same time, she was surrounded by a group of people standing nearby. All of them had come out of curiosity to eavesdrop on the news. No matter how much she tried to drive them away, they wouldn't leave, making Zai even more frustrated. I remained extremely calm. I just found her agreeable. Owl's voice suddenly rose, exclaiming in shock. What do you mean by agreeable? There are so many of us here and yet you only find her agreeable. I moved the phone a bit away from my ear. My words were even more provoking. I only find her agreeable. Having said that, without waiting for Zai Chia Zhao to explode, I immediately hung up. A knock sounded on the dormitory door. Song Jae looked toward me. I nodded to signal him. Song then went to open the door. The person at the door was Lai Chang from the room next door. Behind him was his roommate, Seiyu. Siwo was also a name on the list. Song Jangfan, want to grab dinner with us tonight? A hot pot restaurant just opened nearby. Zhao Zuo and I were planning to go try it out. Siwo also said, come along. It'll be fun. It's a bit boring with just 2 people. We can invite the friends from the room next door, too. Consider it building our friendship as classmates. Besides, I also wanted to get to know you and Sanjai. Song had already shown his talent during military training. And as for me, though I arrived later, it's clearly visible that I am a truly multi-talented individual. Song Jai instinctively turned his head to look at me, waiting for my decision. My phone vibrated once again. I glanced at the screen, then flipped the phone face down on the table. I didn't answer, just thanked the 2 of them, but we already have plans for tonight. Song Ji followed my lead. Maybe next time, some other day, he'll treat you guys then. We can go eat and then go for some karaoke. Exu observed the exchange of glances between the 2, knowing that Song Jai was asking for my opinion, thinking about how had recently seen the Mang family's young lady hanging around me a lot. He made a mental, Zhangfan, why not invite your friend along too? The more the merrier. Liang hurriedly tugged at Zihuo and LT Unk and GTS sleeve. They've already politely declined. Still insisting on inviting them is quite impolite. Zihuo didn't seem to care about that at all. On the contrary, He put on a very sincere expression. My gaze lingered on his face. Zihuo and LTONKGT's expression suddenly froze for a brief moment. He felt as though he had just been seen right through to his soul. Impossible. Zihuo forced himself to calm down. What? No need. Jangfan's tone was somewhat distant. We need to get some rest. Goodbye then, Liang said while pulling Zihu away. All right, you two rest early. We won't bother you anymore. Song Jai waved his hand in a farewell gesture. Bye. And then he closed the room door. Sanji pulled a chair over to sit close to me. It's better to keep your distance from that Zihuo guy. Rumor has it that Zihuo is originally from the prestigious Xi family in the capital. He has never personally come out to admit it, but he has never once denied it either. Thus, there are always many sycophants hovering around him. The number of boys in their class was an odd number. However, during PE class, everyone chose to pair up with their roommates. So, theoretically, the one left out should have been Sanjay. But a female student in class fought to be on the same team as Zihu, even going so far as to hurl insults at Lai Chang. That's why Lai Chang had to pair up with Song Jae around Zihuo. Those people are truly an absolute nuisance. Song Jae always chose to stay away for safety. This data was not in the information file I received. I showed the incessantly ringing phone to Sanjay. This XIE family, the person calling displayed on the screen was none other than xianxia Zhao. Song still hadn't grasped the situation. Is this the prestigious Xi family from the capital? Xi Chao Chao Team 203 Enforcer Sanji. She is a young lady from a wealthy family in Du. When the enforcer answered the phone, he turned on the speaker phone. Before Xi Chao could even speak, I spoke up first. Z, do you know Zihuo? Zihu Chao instinctively asked back. Who? I repeated. Xi Zio thought, do I know him? But this name sounds somewhat familiar. Where have I heard it before? She couldn't remember it for the moment. Jangfan then ordered it for the moment. Jangfan then ordered, Zikao, stop making phone calls. After saying that, I decisively hung up. Zai Chao held the phone, looking at everyone around her. In a daze, she put the phone away, not daring to make another call. Everyone also dispersed. Chief Zhang has always been a man of his word. When I revealed the aura of a chief, no one dared to joke around excessively anymore. Song Jai said, so, it turns out he's not from the Zai family. I didn't care in the slightest. Whether he is or not doesn't matter. Is there any more drama? If Sai Chao found it familiar, there might be some connection. But if it wasn't mentioned in the documents Tang Xuan gave me, then it's not any important information. Song Jai recalled the phone call just now and asked, do you find me pleasing to the eye? I looked at him and nodded, still not understanding what he meant. Song Jae said, I also want to join your team. You also said I am pleasing to your eye, so why can't I? I didn't expect the random words I said to deal with those people would be remembered so clearly by Sanji. I replied, it's not a good fit. Sanji didn't understand why he wasn't a good fit. He'll have to find Eunianu tonight to compare to see where he doesn't fit, and then he can just fix it. Right. My afternoon class ended at 4:00. Just as I stepped out, the way was blocked again. This time it wasn't Mang Hanu, but Chen Huang. There were quite a few people in the class at this time, and they all turned to look at them. A few people were even whispering about something. Changed people again. This lady is also so beautiful. Jangfan is also really handsome. The two of them look so good together. I ignored the crowd's gossip and didn't even care about the prying eyes. I slipped past Chen Huang to continue walking. Chen Huang chased after me. Let's send LT Hunk and GT. Find somewhere to talk for a bit. You people are really troublesome. Chen Huang nodded. It really is troublesome. After we talk this time, I definitely won't bother you anymore, little brother. And I will also try to keep the Chen family from disturbing you. I didn't say anything more, as if weighing how much her promise was worth. Chen Huang was also silent, quietly walking beside me. Song Jae walked on the other side. Exaho stood behind watching them until their figures completely disappeared. First the Mang family and now the Chen family. Just what? When Chang'ing saw them coming out because there was an outsider, when Chang Zheng didn't dare call him, Chief Jiang only asked Jangfan Song Jai, are we going now? Why are you here? I was planning to call a specialized car. Worried everyone would have a hard time catching a ride. When Shang Zhang just got a new car, it was on the way. I nodded then told Sanji, you get in the car and wait for me first. Song Jai nodded in agreement. When Shang Zhang glanced at Chen Huang standing next to me, take your time talking. Saying that, he led Sanong Ya back to the car. I pointed towards a nearby cafe. Net and LT Unk and GTS talk in there. Chen Huang looked after the car, then followed me into the cafe. Who was that? I ordered 2 coffees and answered, just a friend. What do you have to say? Shen Huang looked at the car outside again. A new model, very popular right now. It must cost tens of millions of yuan. The car from this morning was also extremely expensive. These friends of yours are not simple at all. Shen Huang has been in the business world for a long time. She naturally won't be as blind as the others in the family and think that I'm being kept by some wealthy patron or something. The attitude of those people towards me. On the surface, they are friends, but in reality, they are more like subordinates. What? On the 1st of next month, Chen Yu and Bushu will be engaged. I need you to be there to show the world that the Chen family has not mistreated their biological son. Just then, the waiter brought up 2 cups of coffee. I took mine, took a sip, then looked at her, gesturing for her to continue. Chen Huang was slightly stunned by my commanding tone. Suppressing a helpless sigh, she continued, I know you don't want to go back, but mother really misses you. This engagement also needs your presence. I know the Chen family has wronged you. Come back with me. I will arrange for you to have a 3% stake in the Chen family. Think of it as a transaction. What do you think? This is the greatest benefit she could secure for me at this moment. For Chen Huang, there's nothing that money can't solve, but I didn't have the slightest interest. It's nothing special, Chen Huang explained. A 3% stake in the Chen family. The annual dividends are huge. Think it over carefully. Although it was a question, she seemed certain that I would agree. I didn't bother to answer her, but called out, Waiter, the bill. As I spoke, I pulled out a card. Chen Huang was about to stop me to pay herself, when she suddenly saw the card in my hand. Huh? A black card? Chen Huang thought she was seeing things and intended to take a closer look. I obliged her, bringing the card closer. I don't lack money, nor do I care for those shares, and I certainly don't have time to play happy family with you all. Who is this play for? I held the black card and swiped it decisively on the waiter's POS machine. Didn't even need to enter a PIN. It'll take my leave here. Wait. Chen Huang was shocked and hurriedly called me back no matter what. The news of the Chen family finding their biological son has spread everywhere. This matter must have a clear conclusion anyway. Otherwise, grandfather and mother will never give up. Chen Huang was not wrong. The Chen family are like flies. They don't harm anyone, but they just make people feel disgusted. It's best to settle it once and for all, I said coldly. I will come to the engagement from now until then. Don't disturb me anymore. Chen Huang hesitated. But mother, if she really wanted to see me, why hasn't there been any sign of her until now? Has she ever considered how I've been living and I do all by myself? Did I need money? Where was I? Those empty words of concern. What's the use of that missing? Chen Huang was suddenly speechless. I continued with a ruthless strike. Or are you afraid Chen Yu will be heartbroken? Or are you afraid it'll steal his betrothal? When your first choice is always him at this point, then we can never ever be a family again. Moreover, I once had a family. I know what true affection is. The pity of the Chen family. I don't need it. Little Fan, I made the sweet and sour ribs you like best. Come in and eat. Little Fan, let's go practice swordsmanship. Come here. This is a new array I just researched. Who's trying it first? Little Fan, put on your long pants. Even if you have spiritual power, you still have to wear long pants to keep warm. Little Fan, I carved this myself. Ping and Ku, happy birthday. Each face radiant with a smile flashed through my mind. The youths playing together, standing side by side, living a proud youth, making an oath together, through life and death. And in the end, they really did leave together. Bodies piled high, blood flowing like rivers, fire engulfing the sky, soul scattered, bodies no longer whole. I was suddenly dazed for a moment, then quickly pulled back my emotions. I lightly touched the ping and ko jade around my neck through my clothes. Give me the time and location of the engagement ceremony. Chen Huang didn't notice the nostalgia and murderous intent in my eyes. She mentioned the time and the name of a hotel. Still not at ease, she added. This involves the alliance between the Chen and B families. Don't do anything reckless. I chuckled softly. Rest assured, I won't ruin your plans. Although Chen Huang had only met me twice, she subconsciously believed my words. She glanced at the clothes I was wearing. Chen Huang said, many from high society will attend the engagement party. People judge a book by its cover. Let me find a stylist for you. If you dress too shabbily there, it won't just be you losing face, but the whole Qin family will be ridiculed along with you. No need. Goodbye. It's truly unnecessary. At the age of 5, covered in blood with tattered clothes, I was picked up by my master. At the age of 15, in old grey clothes, I was brought to the Special Abnormalities Bureau by Tang Xuan. If I relied on appearances, I wouldn't have reached the position I am in today. I stepped into Wen Changzhang's car. Sanji and Wen Changzhang had already gotten to know each other. Let's send LT Hunk and GT, though. Chen Huang returned to the Chen house. The Chen mother asked anxiously, "How was it, my child? Did you meet him? When will he agree to come back?" Chen Yu, because his face was still swollen, stayed home from school. He stood behind the Chen mother, peeking behind Chen Huang. No one was with her. Chen Huang replied, "He said he will come to the engagement party." The Chen mother asked, "What about now? Go and bring him back quickly." "I've already found an etiquette teacher," Chen Huang said briefly. "No need for that anymore. I will take care of this. As for grandfather and father, let me go and have a word." Chen Yu was secretly happy that I wasn't coming back. All the better. If he doesn't learn etiquette from the teacher, by the time he makes a fool of himself at the engagement party, everyone will see the worlds of difference between me and him. Mother Chen Yu said sweetly, "Just listen to big sister. My engagement suit was delivered today. Come and help me choose." Mother Chen Yu's clothes are all custom-made from the most luxury brands. The engagement suit was even more meticulously crafted. The cost was extremely high. The Chen family ordered 10 different sets at once. Of course, he had to choose the most magnificent one. He wanted to be the most outstanding person at that party. The Chen mother also understood at this time the engagement was the most important matter. "All right, let's go take a look together." Chen Yu was elated, then turned to Chen Huang. "Big sister, you should come see too." Chen Huang refused. "I still have a pile of documents to process. You two go ahead and choose," thinking of the clothes I wore and then looking at Chen Yu and LT Unk and GT's luxurious attire now. It really was worlds apart. All of this should have belonged to me. Watching the backs of the Chen mother and Chen Yu, Chen Huang remembered my words again. The Chen family, whether for affection or for benefit, their number one choice is always Chen Yu, and I perhaps am just an accidental incident. Not returning might actually be better. The Bei family is also busy preparing for the engagement, sending invitations to guests everywhere. The Bei patriarch hesitated. "Shushu, have you sent the invitations to the leaders yet?" Bai Shushu shook her head. "Grandfather, my boss already told me private matters shouldn't be brought into the bureau. Weddings or funerals are not allowed." The Bei patriarch sighed with regret. He originally wanted to use this occasion to network with people from the Special Abnormalities Bureau, but he still hasn't had the chance. It's a special agency directly under the chief executive. All its members have extraordinary backgrounds. Their rank is much higher than other units of the same level. Speaking of the bureau, a figure suddenly flashed through Bayash's mind. She suddenly didn't want the news of her engagement to reach the bureau at all. The Zai family received the invitation and marveled. "Hey, Mr. Zai, if I remember correctly, isn't Kao's friend the real young master of the Chen family?" Mr. Zai looked at the card and frowned. "The Chen family seems determined to see this through. I must call little Zuo." As he spoke, he dialed the number immediately. The Ixi mother recounted the whole story, then asked, "Chao, does your friend know about this, or should our family not go to this engagement?" Zai Chao quickly intervened. "Don't, Mom, don't. You must go. You must witness Bai Shushu and that imposter complete all the formalities and let me know immediately." That damn Bai Shushu. Turns out she returned to Zhangzhou just to get engaged. And it seems she still doesn't know Jangfan is the true young master of the Chen family. Otherwise, there's no way she'd get engaged to an imposter. Otherwise, even if they couldn't switch it back, the Bai family definitely wouldn't miss the golden opportunity to get to know Jangfan and Mom and Dad. Absolutely don't let anything slip. Remember to mention my friend's name a lot. The Exina mother heard the schadenfreude in her daughter's voice. She secretly wondered if her daughter had feelings for this true young master. She promised, "All right, don't worry. Mom and Dad will definitely go. Tell you as soon as the party is over." Dachi Kaio smiled so widely her mouth wouldn't close. "Yes, I love you most in the world. Mom, wait until Bishu finds out Jangfan is the true young master. She'll probably be sick with regret. She's been waiting so long to see this play, Ha 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 ha. Sayaki and Ltilunk and GTS strange smile lasted all day. Occasionally she would burst out laughing alone. Her teammates were so scared they thought she was about to mutate. Captain Louis thought she had gone crazy from too much overtime and planned to give her a few days off. But because they were severely short-staffed, so whatever, crazy or not, as long as she can still work, it's fine. At the Special Abnormalities Bureau's shooting range, I stood to the side watching. A researcher stood next to me, watching Song Jae practice shooting. Being near me truly felt safer, because the gun in Sanjai's hand had already exploded several times. Each time, I timely wrapped the gun in spiritual power, even if the explosion couldn't penetrate my small barrier. But seeing the gun explode right in front of his face still made the researcher shudder with fear. After several failed shots, Sanjai seemed to have found a pattern. He knew how to control spiritual power below a certain limit. Eunianu hurried in from outside. Sanji had just fired a bullet. The bullet carrying powerful spiritual energy completely shattered the target. Not bad, I nodded in approval. When spiritual power is combined with firearms, the power is multiplied. A handgun with the destructive power of a grenade. Sanji couldn't hide his joy. He'd aimed the gun at a target further away. Tangu and call from the door. Xiao Chen, let's go to the meeting. I tilted my head slightly. Coming. Then I turned to tell Eunianu, keep an eye on him. His usage is still unstable. It can easily explode. Eunianu nodded. Yes, Bill. Keep watch here. With Eunianu there, I left with Tang Soon with peace of mind. Lin Quan, who came with Tang Xuan, also decided to stay. Standing next to Eunianu, watching Sanji shoot, he wondered if he should find a weapon for himself. Sanji finished the magazine and asked, is there only a 12-round magazine? No, we just recently researched a 30-round one. Sanji ran to the corner of the room, opening the black suitcase he brought. Wait a second. Then he walked over and handed it to Song Jae. As soon as Songju handed it over, he hurriedly ran back to Eunianu. I can't blame him for being afraid because as a member of the logistics research team, he doesn't have any spiritual power in him at all. Songju explained from a distance to not increase the weight and size of the gun. The bullets were designed to be more compact. It might be a little different from a regular handgun. The material of the bullet is also different. On a fierce battlefield, if you truly have to use firearms and have to carry a heavy bag of ammo and then after 12 shots, you have to change magazines. It would be suicide. Just a slip during reloading and the enemy could finish me off in an instant. Song Jae picked up the gun to gauge its weight. He didn't use spiritual power right away, but raised his hand and fired a test shot. The shot power seemed slightly weaker than a normal handgun, but the bullet was pure black. He didn't ask much, but tried to channel spiritual power into it. A bullet was fired successfully. So, he continued to gradually increase the spiritual energy channeled, wanting to find out what limit of spiritual energy this bullet could withstand. The more the energy increased, the more terrifying the power became. When the target exploded, the pressure even affected several surrounding targets. At first, Sanya was quite cautious, but by the 18th bullet, he suddenly poured 3 times more spiritual energy than before into the bullet. Eunianu was quick and immediately threw a talisman. The talisman stuck firmly to the gun's body. Sanji felt the gun in his hand being yanked away by an enormous force, flying up into the air. It exploded like a brilliant firework. Casings fell scattered to the ground. The bullet could withstand the energy, but the gun's body could not. Seju silently moved to stand behind Eunianu just to be safe. Lin Quan was also startled, then looked curiously at Yuna's hands. How did you do that? How could the talisman fly so fast? He immediately turned to ask Eunianu, how did your talisman fly so quickly? It just arrived in a flash. Eunianu explained, I channel spiritual energy into the talisman. That way I can control it. To put it simply, it's using spiritual energy to manipulate objects. Lin Quan's eyes lit up. He wanted to learn, seeing everyone's techniques. He wanted to learn this. He wanted to know that. He wanted everything, but he had only just mastered absorbing and releasing spiritual energy. Eunianu glanced at him. Go find Tang Xuan. He and LT Unk and GTLL teach you. Sanji approached and asked Songju, can you give me another gun of this type? Songju scratched his head. I only brought one of the latest models. I didn't expect you to break it so quickly. He sighed. Wait, let me go back and get another. These guns aren't mass-produced yet, and the ammo is even rarer. Songju scrambled back to the research department's warehouse for more guns. The remaining 3 stood staring at each other. Song Jae kept staring at Eunianu, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. The talisman in her hand began to stir. Say whatever you have to say. Don't look at me like that. Song Jae asked, did Jangfan take you into the team because you're very skilled? Eunianu both shook and nodded her head. That could be considered part of the reason. Lin Quan heard the hidden meaning in Sanjai and Ltiong and GTS words. He didn't accept you. Song Jae turned to look at him. The two looked at each other, understanding the issue immediately, so they both turned to stare at Eunianu. But why? Why not accept them but accept Eunianu? Lin Quan guessed hesitantly. Or is it because she's a girl? Even he didn't find that reason convincing. No way, Song Jae stated firmly. Jangfan isn't the type of person who discriminates by gender. Shunu originally didn't plan to say it, but for fear of misunderstanding, she spoke up. Maybe it's because I am an orphan. Both Jai and Lin Quan were stunned. What do you mean? What? No relatives? No attachments will never leave for a lifetime. Both suddenly held their breath in unison. Song Jai suddenly remembered the question. I asked him, aren't you afraid of death? How did you answer then? You said you were very scared. But for your family and friends, you could overcome that fear because you still have loved ones. Lin Quan also has his own burdens to carry. Sanji didn't say another word. He lowered his head, his thoughts a mystery. Lin Quan felt a sharp pang in his heart. He quietly walked away, heading to the adjacent field to continue his training. Special Abnormalities Bureau Meeting Room. No one. The online video connection is established. Holographic images were projected throughout the meeting room from all directions. The branch leaders and all 16 department heads were present. Headquarters Deputy Directors Liang and Xiaoing Zhou, Department 17 Headwin, Shang Jiang had also arrived along with Director Yuan, Commander Tan Shuwen, and me, the Chief Enforcer. All the participants for this meeting have finally gathered. Yua and Ning skipped the tedious formalities. He gave a decisive order. Let's begin. Tang Jae-wen projected the documents onto the main screen. I'm sure everyone has already looked these over. This is the training data from the past few days, the one with the best performance metrics. Is this spirit hound belonging to Xian and Shu with absolutely no prior cultivation experience? As for the rest of the data, it all comes from the Department 17 enforcers from last year. These numbers are far beyond anything else. Lin Quan, who started as the weakest link, has gradually clawed his way to the top, catching up to several enforcers from Department 17. Tang Zuwen switched the display. Based on the feedback you all provided earlier and combined with these metrics, I have adjusted parts of the training program. Aside from the fundamental drills for enforcers at various skill levels, we can tailor the training to each individual's abilities. Tang Suwen went into detail about the training plan. Basic training, physical conditioning, agility, and close combat. These are the mandatory subjects everyone must take. Swordsmanship, blade techniques, firearms, and arrays. Every discipline that can be utilized on the battlefield. Each person must choose one specialty. What are your thoughts? The head of the Dongha branch, Qinshi Yue, spoke first. Swordsmanship and blade techniques should still have one chosen as a part of core training. Things like firearms or tactical arrays. The reliance on external factors is still too high. If not mastered, it's far too easy to end up hurting yourself. Or if there's a shortage of ammunition, a lack of diagrams, or an unsuitable location, it all makes it far too easy for us to lose the initiative. Yu Ning made the final call. Then it's settled. As for choosing between swords and blades, let them decide for themselves. Tang Zuwen typed away on his computer, bringing up the next item for discussion. How will weapon production be organized? The Bureau discovered ink metal 3 years ago. It's pitch black just like a block of ink. It's completely unlike any existing metal today. Its ability to conduct spiritual energy is exceptional. Plus, its density is lower than most other metals. Nung Kim Haen Company. It hasn't been put into large-scale use yet. The Weapon Research Department requested ink metal for bullet production. It's not yet in mass production. It's still only in the testing phase. The hardness of ink metal is incredibly high. Forging and sharpening it requires an immense amount of effort. With the ink metal we currently possess, we can craft approximately 10,000 swords or blades or 200,000 rounds of ammunition. That's still nowhere near enough. Yuang said. First try crafting 100 swords and 100 blades along with 1,000 bullets. Once the final head count is confirmed, well, manufacture weapons based on the actual number of troops. No one had any objections. Someone asked, can ink metal be used to manufacture handguns? If only the bullets can withstand spiritual energy, then it's simply not going to be enough. Tang Zuwen replied, the difficulty is far too high. We've already failed. The ink metal is just too hard. Forging swords and blades is one thing, and making bullets is barely acceptable, but high-precision parts for something like a pistol are nearly impossible. In that case, give me some of the raw materials. Tang Zuwen nodded. Fine. Once the meeting is over, go to the supply warehouse and get it. Next, let's confirm this item. As for instructors, we have plenty for physical training. We have access to professional trainers. There are also many who are experts in close-quarters combat. Tang Shuwen already spoke with Lin Quan. He can take on the responsibility of teaching Sanshu. He was a teacher before all this. After all, it's just a change of scenery for his work. Regarding firearms, we have quite a few talented people within the bureau. But for blades, swords, and arrays, those three are hard to staff. The bureau certainly doesn't lack sword and blade users, and there are plenty who are skilled in arrays. But fundamentally, they all have their own secret lineages. Most are unwilling to share their secret techniques with outsiders. Tang Su, when mentioned, Lin Quan could help with Sanshu. But for the remaining subjects, we still have no candidates. Yue and Ning scanned the room looking at everyone. I know many sword, blade, and array techniques are closely guarded secrets. I won't force anyone, but is there anyone here willing to volunteer? Yue and Ning understood one thing clearly. To lead these arrogant geniuses, the first thing one must offer is respect. Meet sincerity with sincerity. I lowered my eyes. If time permits, I can teach swordsmanship to everyone. Yunian Valley is world-renowned for its dual mastery of swords and arrays. Within the entire cultivation world, it is an elite top-tier existence. The sword is my greatest specialty. Everyone turned to look at me upon hearing that. I remained composed, completely unfazed. I have never once mentioned my sect. Nonfam like him Fapktui would certainly have their own suspicions, and yet no one dared to speak of it openly. Lin Yao is also a sword user. She naturally recognizes the lethal power of my swordsmanship. Do you truly intend to pass down that sword lineage? I can also teach swordsmanship. Lino spoke up. My C doesn't care about such things. Qin Ziwa spoke with a sharp tone. You'll take charge of teaching blade techniques. The world is on the brink of extinction. Who still gives a damn about those things? These words truly resonated with the hearts of most people. Humanity is hanging by a thread. Who has time to worry about sect traditions at a time like this? Let's just survive first, then we can talk about legacies. Once everyone is dead and gone, who are you going to teach the ghosts? When Shang Seneng smiled and said, leave the arrays to me. As long as they call me teacher, then it's no longer considered sharing it with outsiders. The other department heads also expressed their willingness to teach. No problem. In the end, everyone has their own reasons. Selecting instructors went much smoother than Tang Zun had expected. Though these people are young and exceptionally talented, they are all incredibly reliable. Tengu Wen recorded the list of candidates. Next item, the location. Xinxia of Dongzhou and Zhu Cheng and of Bihu stared at each other. Neither was willing to back down. Xinxi said Bihu is frozen all year round. It's far too difficult to set up a training site there. Zhu Cheng shot back. Dongzhou is right next to Nanzhou. Who's to say someone won't sneak in one day? And even the demon race won't have a clue. Lin Yao immediately retorted, fight amongst yourselves all you want. But what's this about sneaking in? The demon race wouldn't know. We and Nanjing aren't exactly incompetent. Zhu Cheng immediately changed his tune. Dongao has quite a few hidden cultivation sects, doesn't it? Are you planning to invite them to come and watch the training? He continued mockingly. Why not just send them a formal invitation? I caught myself glancing at Tang Ziwen for a moment. Then I scanned the department heads present. Every single one of them was silent, focusing inward. Not a single person dared to say a word. Chief Zhang, stop looking at them. Even if you bribed them, they wouldn't dare send that invitation back to their sects. Qinzu fell silent. It was the absolute truth. Dongao indeed has the highest number of sects in the 5 provinces. Department 2 head Liu Jun muttered. Bihao has its fair share of rogue cultivators as well. Department 4 head Jiang Tang shot him a sidelong glance. The directors of Biha, Dongzhou and Nanzhou are arguing. It's best if we from Zhu don't get involved. This was also a plain truth. Liu Jun was originally a rogue cultivator hailing from Beiju. I spoke up. Nanzhou and Seiyu guard the barriers. It's far too dangerous. Bei's weather is just too extreme. Zanhao is far too densely populated. The cultivation environment in Dongao is the most ideal. It is where the highest concentration of cultivators are. This is also a matter the sects have always cared about. Except for those sects guarding the borders, no one wants to stay in Nanzhou or Exeho. I shifted my tone. I propose that the